Welcome to Anime FMK. I'm KaiserNeko. I'm going to be your host for today because, well, Ben doesn't really watch Dragon Ball Super, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Oh, wait, I should be looking at that camera. I'm not used to being over here, not in this seat. So today we're going to be talking about the Tournament of Power from Dragon Ball Super. And joining us are two people who have never been on the... Okay, actually, Grant's been on the show once. Hello, Grant. Granthony.
Hello. I am a longtime Dragon Ball fan who views Super as a monkey's paw wish gone horribly wrong. And I'm here to talk about it.
That's not incorrect.
Grant, what do people know you from?
I've been on TFS Gaming a gaggle of times. We have a TFS at the table with Dungeons and Dragons on this very stage. And I said, yeah, fuck Goku once in a little show called Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
Don't fucking swear on this podcast. It's PG-13.
I'm sorry, it's anime, fuck MK. I figured one of those would be allowed to show, and I thought I'd take it.
So, yes.
Great.
So, nobody knows who you are, but introduce yourself anyway.
Hi, I'm Alejandro Saab. I go by KaggyFilms on the internet, where I talk about Dragon Ball and yell like a banshee. I like Dragon Ball because Bulma is bae, 18 can die, but hey, I'd fucking kill her. Am I right? Yeah.
Very good.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely an honor. So, I have a little bit of an outline here. We're going to try to stick to the outline. This arc was 56 episodes long. It's a lot of episodes. And it's going to be difficult to get through all of this. If we don't talk about something here, understand that there's a lot to talk about.
There was a lot of it.
Something's going to get lost.
I don't remember half of it.
Oh my God.
With 56 episodes, and I know that was not every week. That sounds to me like over a year's worth of anime.
It is, in fact, at least a year and a month.
Whew.
Yeah.
Man, Dragon Ball is bullshit.
Dragon Ball, this is Dragon Ball. Welcome to Dragon Ball, where it's forever taking. So, we're going to start off here. The Tournament of Power was started on episode 76, essentially. We had just concluded the Goku Black arc. We had a little bit of filler in between. A great little two-parter with Barry Khan, the best Dragon Ball villain of all time. We got to see a very sweet side of Videl when Barry Khan tries to blackmail Gohan, and she just kicks his ass out. And we get to see some Super Saiyan Man stuff. That was nice. We also got a bit of a build-up for Goku and the Omni King because Goku was promised. No, not promised, but it was suggested that there would be another tournament with all of the universes. And he's been rip-raring and ready for that for about a whole saga since then. And so here it's finally coming to a head. He goes to Mr. Zeno, the Zenos. There are two of them now for some god-awful reason. And yeah, we're going to get a tournament with all of the universes, which actually ends up only being a couple of the universes because reasons.
Most of the universes.
There is no real reason why there are two Zenos, is there?
Oh, the reason is because they wanted the ending to the Goku Black Saga to be the absolute worst ending in all of Dragon Ball.
I thought it was at least going to end up with some sort of one of the two Zeno disagree with the other one.
Right.
And then it becomes like a conflict that there's two of them. But
that'd be a good idea.
But now they're just two kids.
Yeah, well, considering the power of those two, I feel like a conflict between them would literally erase all of existence.
It's fine.
Or they
start to an arc.
Or they would erase each other.
Ooh.
Oh.
And then the Grand Priest.
Interesting.
Then the Grand Priest becomes a villain. Boom.
Isn't that what we all wanted?
Zeno has just been keeping us angels in line all along.
Yeah. So.
What a theory.
Let's start off with this arc. So much like the Buu saga that's for later. Keep those down.
Don't tell them yet.
So, much like Dragon Ball Z, we actually saw a bit of a, how do I put this, revamp and everything. We got a power when the Buu saga started in Dragon Ball Z with some new, updated music, stuff that sounded very different from what it did before. A little bit of a change in the art style, nothing too over the top, but At this point, I think a director might have changed, but we saw a lot of new stuff in the Boo saga. It felt very different from its previous arcs. And here we get a new opening, we get a new director, we get new writers, we get a filter over everything to give it a new visual style, and we also got a lot of planning. And this arc had a lot more pre-planning and a better schedule than a lot of its predecessors, including the Goku Black arc and the Universe 6 arc. So here we have basically a refresh of Super. How did you guys react to it when it first happened?
I liked the new opening quite a bit because I actually was not a very big fan of the first opening. So the new opening really worked for me. The kind of the visual changes, I'll be completely honest, I didn't quite catch like right away. I do feel like this arc had what I would call the biggest difference in quality, like within itself, because there were some episodes that looked incredible, and I'm not just talking about the finale. There were like some mixed-in episodes in there, like that looked really good.
Yeah.
And then there were quite a few episodes that I thought were not so pretty, and it just kind of felt like I wish they could have spread that out a little better. I understand that production and schedules and stuff like that create a lot of tension, conflict, all kinds of stuff, but some episodes look really pretty, and I really appreciated that. And it was one of those things where, as someone who, full disclosure, has been a little critical of Dragon Ball Super for most of its run, there were a few episodes where I was like, all my story problems aside, if the show looked this good consistently, I would be thrilled and would happily watch this all the time.
Dragon Ball Super Kai.
Yeah, I'd be into that.
Please.
Actually, there are people online who are already putting together a recut version for a couple of reasons. But let's talk about that opening we're talking about. Let's talk about that for just a moment. Yeah. So as somebody who hated Chosette's dynamic because I like
I don't even
my
remember it.
Okay.
I always thought
I'm
the singer
on
sounded
Adderall and I don't care about this song.
Yeah, I was gonna say the singer never sounded like he was interested in what he was singing.
Yeah, no, I did
Something
not.
about the tone of his voice just sounded like, and I'm here, I guess.
Yeah, and the best part is the singer for the second for Limit Break Survivor is like a classical Japanese enka singer.
Oh.
But he kills it here. It's ridiculous how good he is in this song. The song pumps you up every time. Like every time I heard it, I'm like, dun 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 dun, let's go, and I fucking love it. Like
Not only is it a good theme, it's good for because there's like instrumental versions of it that will play during the episodes for like dramatic moments and stuff, and it fits really well there too. Like it's the melody is just very versatile and works in a lot of scenarios, and I really appreciated that.
That was one of the biggest problems with Dragon Ball up until then and its music. We'll talk about the music a little bit more as we go on, but one of the things that... so I was on a podcast with the Kanzenshuu guys the other day, and they were talking about... We actually had talked about the lack of personality in Super's music, and one of the things was... They never use the opening song for anything. They had the song play one episode, and it was for when Goku fights Hit.
When he went Kaioken and Blue, right?
Yeah, and guess what? It kind of actually sucked.
Yeah.
It actually kind of hurt.
It's not a
them.
good impact song.
No.
And beyond that, it also never got a lot of instrumentation. Heck, our opening recap is still Chala Head Chala.
Which I thought was so weird.
That is weird. It's like they were so afraid of embracing this new personality, of making its own thing. But no, in this arc, I feel like they're like, no, we need to make Dragon Ball Super its own identity. Limit Break Survivor literally has seven different instrumentals. 7 different instrumentals throughout it. A couple that were never, at least one that was never used. I've heard the soundtrack. It's really.
Oh wow, cool.
It's bad. It's real bad.
Never mind.
Yeah, I can tell
It
why it was
sucks.
never used. Yeah.
The romance theme.
The romance theme.
Actually, they have a couple of sad ones. They have triumphant ones. They have a kooky, like, we're just hanging out one.
I really
and
like
then
the slow, very like.
dun 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 dun. That big orchestral. Yeah, they played that during 131 too. Like, and I was like, yeah, perfect moment for it. It's great.
I feel like it always leads into the whatever the Ultra Instinct theme song is, because I feel like it usually plays there and then like has a long drawn out note, and then just kicks into the rock.
Yep. See, that's the interesting thing about like this arc is that we get a bunch of new music. And we'll talk a little bit more about the music later, but yeah, the new opening song is great, and they use it a bunch because it's great, and that's good. I personally think that while you should have all your own original instrumentation in there, songs that really represent the show, it's good to have something as a through line, something that's like
Something
this.
that resonates.
Yes. So I thought that was very effective. So we got this new music, we got this new filter, new directors, just people coming in and making the show look better than it has in a while. But let's talk about the arc itself. Let's talk about the narrative.
Oh.
I know. So our opening bit is, there was going to be a tournament, and now let's do an exhibition, which I thought was really interesting. Like, oh, hey, cool, we get a little bit of a pre-fight before the main fight. Little did I know that this is episode about like 77, 78, and we wouldn't start the tournament until episode 95. And,
Dragon Ball.
So we get the exhibition arc. What did you guys think of the exhibition arc as a whole?
I liked the introduction of the Trio to Danger. I thought that was a fun, like, let's have a peek at kind of what is going to be the low tier enemy of the arc, and still give them a second to shine. Also, it gave Boo a fight. I want to say his first and only fight in Super, as far as I know.
He
I
got
could be
his
forgetting
ass
one.
beat by Beerus.
That's right. He did get beat up by Beerus. I forgot that
and
happened.
he did go thin.
And
that one time.
so we got to see him actually do something for a second. Gohan got to get a little bit of a wake up call when he nearly basically got a draw with his fight when he got that purple stuff all over him. And then Goku got to fight a giant. We haven't seen that since Vegeta, so that was fun. And I just liked it as kind of like a peek at like, oh man, if these are just 3 dudes, we're gonna have to contend with 10 of them from each universe. Oh man. The one big disappointment I will throw at it though is that when they had their exhibition match, they were like, all right, if we win, can we just call this whole thing off and just say it doesn't have to happen?
Yeah.
And I wanted Goku to up the antes when his like turn came, and it was, well, all right, so if I win, this tournament's not only happening, but those other universes that get to sit out because their mortal level's too high or something, I want them to join too. Like, I wanted Goku to make this an all or nothing thing. But instead he was like, no, let's just stick with the same rules. There's going to be like, what, 3-4 universes that get to sit out for next to no reason to Goku's eyes.
Let's be honest, it's kind of a good thing he didn't do that.
Yeah. I mean, it would have.
But then we would have had more, and it would have been so cool.
No.
Yes.
I think we have already, as we will talk about today, without spoiling too much, I think we'll find out that more was maybe
Well, here's
less.
my thing. It's more in the sense of like stronger, or just let's see. Okay, if
Scope.
these are like if they're like their mortal level is higher, what makes them higher? So let's check it out.
I mean, that is an interesting idea, but again, we'll see why that could have been a bad idea
thing.
later.
I agree, but it felt like the Goku move in the moment.
Well, that would have also been putting them in danger. Let's be honest.
That's fair.
Like, as much as we think, like, he gets more fighting, I think even Goku knew, like, you know what, maybe I'm not going to push all these other people into it.
Into a genocidal tournament.
Who have been spared this.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess I hadn't considered that.
So
In Dragon Ball?
but let's. So for me, I liked this little mini arc, and in retrospect, I understand why it was there. Because Boo gets nothing in Super.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's kind of interesting because Boo is one of those characters who is so far removed from everybody else. He's so different. His personality is different. His skill set is different. He is humanoid in only very, subtle manners, and everything else is crazy and weird. But the show never wants to use him for one reason or another.
Even
I don't know if
till the
it's.
end.
I'm not sure if it's his actor. I don't know if it's just the writers. They don't know what to do with him. But by and large, he just never gets used, and it's really disappointing because, frankly, he's so different and cool in terms of what he can do.
If he turned someone into food, would that then be, but didn't
Yes.
eat them, would that then be them declared dead, or could he just have turned?
Can he turn people back from food?
I think
Yes.
If he can, then I think that's fine.
Okay.
Because if he
Because
said,
imagine Jiren just being turned into
candy.
into
Then it'd
candy.
be a Vegeta situation, wouldn't it? Because he's so
okay.
powerful, he can control his little chocolate form.
that was hilarious, but I don't know how that would carry over to other characters. Although I do love the idea of Boo zapping a guy, turning him into a cookie, walking over, throwing him off the arena, zapping him as he's falling.
But let's be real. Boo would never
That's-
toss away a cookie.
Yeah,
That fucker
this
would
might
eat the
be-
shit out of
But
it.
see, that'd be a good way to get him eliminated.
That would be hilarious. Like, Boo, use your candy. Oh, good. He saved him. Walks over.
No.
Macho Boo, no!
Shit.
So, okay, you know what? Well, hold on. We still have a little bit to get to the tournament.
Well,
so,
and Alejandro hasn't given his thoughts on the exhibition.
yeah. What do you think of the exhibition arc in general?
Man, so I know there's anime, FMK, but I read the Dragon Ball Super manga of it.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna.
I haven't, so I don't. I
Yeah.
know nothing.
The manga by Toyotaro, aka Toyble of Dragon Ball AF fame. Funny enough, yeah, he's doing the official manga version that is in V Jump, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's in V Jump. It's in one of the jumps, and it's basically just promotional material.
Yeah.
It's also kind of better in a couple of ways than the anime proper. Also worse in a couple of ways than the anime proper. But if I had to be honest with you, it's only worse because it doesn't include some of the anime's good moments. But by and large, it never gets as bad as the anime does. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna like put it out there. I'm actually gonna be doing a special about the Super manga once it's covered the entire tournament. I think it's better.
I think so too.
But we're not going to talk about that here. I know, but there's a lot of things that we could get caught up on. Let's talk about the anime proper because the manga is. You could watch the entire anime without seeing the manga, and that's what a lot of people do.
Well, my thoughts on the exhibition match. It was enjoyable. It was fun. It like you said, it was something that we could see, and it's like, wow, these are just 3 dudes from this universe filled of assholes. So it's like, what are we gonna get from these other universes, you know? And we also got to see Topo and see how strong he was. And then when he said the words, it's like, I'm not even the strongest in our universe. Everyone was like, what the fuck?
And
What does that mean?
Funny thing about that, 2 things I want to point out. One, Jiren was originally supposed to be there, not Topo. Yeah, the promotional material showed Jiren there.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they switched him out last minute. And we'll talk about that when we get to Jiren's character because there's
Okay.
a reason. Secondly, isn't it interesting that they introduced the first universe to get knocked out and the last universe to get knocked out in that exhibition?
Yeah.
I
Showed the
thought that was
bookend.
funny. But yeah.
But yeah, it just made you think like, holy shit, if Topo is like, because they even said that he was like studying to be like the god of destruction. So it's like, man, there's someone stronger than this guy in that universe.
A guy that's potentially stronger than a god of destruction. So yeah. So you thought it ultimately was a good setup for all of this?
It
you
was
think?
definitely a good setup for it all, and then the mini arc following after, like them gathering, it kind of like.
Well, yeah. So we'll talk about the recruitment. So the exhibition tournament, it basically winds up. We get introduced to Universe 9 and Universe 11. Only one character from Universe 11, and again, that's Topo, and he's Wilfred Brimley after hitting the gym for a couple of years. And True to Danger is basically just a bunch of furries with gimmicks, which is very Dragon Ball, I felt like.
Yes.
I felt like we were getting a very Dragon Ball setup with the exhibition tournament, and I liked that. I liked these abilities over strength.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's something we need. Like, if Hunter x Hunter has taught me anything, brute force conflicts are pale in comparison to actual like tactics and skill.
Yes.
So seeing this all play out, I got excited. But immediately after this, something that both got me excited and kind of maybe deflated me a little bit was the recruitment. So Goku is told, hey, yo, you got to get 9 other people or you can't participate. So first thing he does is like, okay, cool. I'll go grab Krillin, Piccolo, Gohan, Boo, Vegeta, oh my God, so Tenshin Han, and then what were the last ones? Roshi.
Roshi was with Tien.
Yeah, Roshi.
And then was 17 the last one?
18, yeah, 18 and 17. Of course, he doesn't know that about 17.
Yeah.
Right.
And he also doesn't think to include Roshi until it happens.
Yeah.
So let's bullet point the recruitment arc quickly because we got to get to the tournament proper,
Right.
and we don't want to spend too much time. But so Krillin, love this shit. Sorry, Krillin, I loved that part.
Yeah, his facing his fears and everything, and
Oh no, that was other dumb bullshit before that.
Okay.
I thought that was okay.
Oh, that's right, that was something
yeah, that was. I thought that was all right.
The fight itself when
Yeah.
he teams up with
Yeah,
18, I thought was really cool.
Yeah. Does he team up with 18 against Goku?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
she
yeah.
like kind of comes in.
Yeah, she
it
comes
starts
in-
off as a one-on-one.
Yeah.
And then 18 like hops in.
Krillin gets to show off like, hey, so here's how I use my Kienzan now. Here's my version of the Taioken that's like basically a full powered version. And it's this really cool fight in the rain on top of a building. I'm like, what is this? It's great. It's amazing. I would have loved more stuff like
It
this.
felt very different from what we are used to seeing from,
From Krillin.
well, not only from Krillin, but from Dragon Ball in general. Like, a fight on a rooftop is like, that's a weird setting for a fight in Dragon Ball. Normally it is, where's the nearest big rocky field or tournament arena?
And they utilize it really well.
Yeah.
And then we see, and some people had some problems with this. But I didn't because I'm not asinine about Goku using Super Saiyan Blue against him. And I'm like, okay, he didn't kill Krillin. He didn't do anything all that over the top. All he did was turn blue to show Krillin this is the kind of power you're going up against.
Yeah.
It's not explicitly said, but also I'm pretty sure the writers aren't going to make Krillin on par with Blue Goku.
No.
Even I don't think they're that bad. And so, but that did get some out of people. What did you think of the fight? What did you think of getting to see Krillin and Goku going up against each other?
I thought it was fine, and I thought I think it's important to show that, kind of like we were talking about earlier, that brute force isn't going to be every deciding factor. That you might be the weaker power level in this fight, but if you can be tricky and work with your surroundings and teammates, you can find a way through this. And I think that's kind of what that fight was supposed to illustrate, is that even though Goku was stronger, like, Krillin outsmarted him, and that was how it was working. And I think that was kind of showing what this tournament was intending to showcase, is a bunch of characters who might not be that high on the power scale, but are crafty enough in fights to find a way through seemingly insurmountable odds.
I'm just happy my boy Krillin got to shine,
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
Anyway.
because he
Well-
shaved and his shiny head was back.
Yeah.
Well,
Bastard.
the next one after that, where does he go after that? I know we get Skinny Boo for a little bit, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skinny Boo was neat. I'm like, oh, that's creepy and weird looking, and I like it though.
The fact that he can do it,
yeah, right.
why doesn't he do it? Like,
I mean, I think it was really just supposed to be a one-off joke, like bearded Goku and Vegeta we got in one episode.
Yeah.
Which I would have
Yeah.
actually been totally happy if we'd gotten that for a couple more episodes. I totally want like dad bod Goku for.
I
for
just
a little
need
while.
a shot of Vegeta observing his mustache and just thinking about it, and then gets rid of it.
Yeah. So we get that. Unfortunately, there's no recruitment for Ten Shinhan. I think the writers just kind of forgot about that. He just sort of shows up later.
No, they go to him.
No, I'm pretty sure there's no episode with Ten Shinhan.
No, they go. Scott,
There's
I don't want to.
the whole zombie thing.
Yeah,
about
remember?
a
There's-
girl who's in her 40s, but
Yeah.
they drew her like she's like 10.
And she's like been chasing Tianjin Han this whole
and
time.
possessed Roshi in the process.
Remember?
Yeah, remember?
Come on, that happened.
Yeah.
I hate what they do with Ten Shinhan in this arc. I'm just gonna put
What,
it on the
you,
table.
You don't like his dojo?
I know. I love the idea for the dojo. I hate the fact that they made him a terrible teacher.
Oh, yeah.
He has a bunch
Tien
of.
is shit.
Ten Shinhan is not.
Hasn't
shit,
he been
though.
spending his
Shit,
whole
have
life
you not been
practically-
watching Super?
Hasn't he practically been spending his whole life teaching Chaozu, and Chaozu's just always kind
How old is
I'm
Chaozu?
scared to be here, Tian.
Isn't Chaozu supposed to be in his 50s?
God knows how old Chaozu actually is. But this isn't about Chaozu. God help us. It's about Ten Shinhan and the writers just
Should have been the
hating
real 10th
him.
pick.
Like, they hate him. They make him a bad teacher. They make him, struggle against characters he should have no problem with. He basically gets relegated to the extra guy who we picked up at the last second.
The
Yeah,
unfortunate thing is, actually, I think everything falls apart for Tien because Yamcha isn't here anymore. And Yamcha was always the easy butt of the joke. Like, all right, if we need to establish something goes wrong, we're going to throw Yamcha in there because that is his bit. That's like his character is supposed to be the guy who looks cool but falls flat whenever it matters. And like
Yamcha is a god. I don't want to hear it.
all memes aside.
No, it ain't a beam. It's
like that's
real.
that has been his bit from his introduction. He shows up being the cool looking guy, gets his teeth knocked out, and then he's a goofball. Like it's just been him since Dragon Ball. Now he is kind of out of the picture.
And intentionally too. They make jokes about the fact that he's basically relegated to off-screen stuff, and he even so in a joke that I felt was actually kind of mean-spirited and kind of maybe indicative of a larger problem with Dragon Ball Super of being far too meta with this narrative. They make a whole joke about Yamcha waiting to be invited, and then he never does.
I thought that bit was funny personally, but I do agree that is kind of a sign for something that might be wrong because without Yamcha there to be the guy to kind of showcase sort of the villains being able to kick ass and the folly of the good guys, that all unfortunately for some reason fell to Tien instead, and it just made him look bad when I feel like I can understand their logic for, well, we need to show some of these heroes not having things just working out for them, but to have it all just cascade on Tien, who has consistently been
It's fine, guys.
really good.
It's fine. Yamcha has his own manga. He shines there.
Hey,
It's fine.
that's fair.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But yeah, and that is the problem. Ten Shinhan is shown to be the hardest working human, basically. He never stopped training. Krillin stopped training. Yamcha stopped training.
Krillin's still better.
Huh?
Krillin's still better.
I mean, that's an opinion I don't necessarily disagree with. But
That's right.
Ten Shinhan is also the...
Go on.
Ten Shinhan, they did him dirty. Because it's like, hey, in this show where everybody makes forward progress by never giving up, Ten Shinhan never gave up. Ten Shinhan never stopped.
I
He
think
hit
they
his
did a
ceiling,
lot of
man.
people dirty in this show, like especially in this last arc.
Yeah. But so ultimately, my point being, Ten Shinhan got screwed, where everybody else got a power-up or a scene to shine that was really good. He never gets that. He never gets one scene to shine. They give him one thing in the tournament, and it's bad. It's horribly done.
Roshi's training is a scene that has.
Oh, yeah, and let's talk about Master Roshi, the rapist.
What?
Whoa.
No.
Whoa.
No, I think you mean the furry.
No.
Oh, well, I'm talking about, well, first of all, I'm talking about the fact that he tries to get all up on that one girl
Oh.
and in Ten Shinhan's episode, like just throws himself at her. And then second, in the actual tournament, he literally threatens to rape a girl. And says,
I forgot about
and
that.
says,
He's our kooky sensei. He comes from a different time. Things were different. It's
Is that how we're justifying
it? Just don't.
yeah, and the best
That's our Roshi, guys.
And the best part is, the best thing Krillin can say is, I think he was just playing along or playing around, and the fact that we aren't certain, the fact that Roshi's doesn't have this proof of I was just trying to intimidate her, which still is weird and creepy, but still, the fact that he does that, the fact that he literally looks her in the face and says, "I've pushed down all of these urges, and now you've brought them out." I'm like, okay, what? No, not all right, not okay. But yeah, we'll get into that later. I guess we've really touched on Roshi.
Yeah.
Roshi has other cool moments, but if we touch on those, we'll touch on them. But yeah, Roshi's problematic. Let's put him out there.
I think that it's funny because this is also with Dragon Ball but not Dragon Ball. That's just a joke that's been very apparent in anime as of late.
Guys forcing themselves on women?
Yeah.
Maybe.
And incest.
Him groping girls was always sort of a thing, and him getting punished for it was always a thing.
Yeah.
It's still over the line and kind of gross, but it's part of the culture of their jokes and their humor, and
this felt like a step further than
This
I think
was
we've
the
seen Roshi
intensity
go.
of it.
Yeah.
This was not.
Yeah, I feel like what made this feel extra uncomfortable is it didn't feel like it was played for comedy.
No.
And that that made it. I can get that is the joke, that it's no, the part that's funny about this is how straight we play it. But no, with this subject matter, this isn't something that you kind of want to do that.
Kill him. Kill him.
But yeah, so I'm just taking a look at the chat because I'm kind of curious. So the interesting thing, so let's get back on track.
Yes.
Exhibition arc. So we meet 17. 17's back.
I-
That's weird and cool.
I did not give a shit about 17. I didn't give a shit about 17 until what happens later on.
You know, here's the thing. So Android 17 was always one of those characters who was kind of more of a concept than he was an actual character at the very beginning, because the entire point with them was that they were sort of cool and restrained because they were part robot or whatever.
Fucking hated the androids.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. That's different from a lot of people's perspectives.
Yeah. I fucking hated them.
Yeah, and I could see hating them. I mean, if you look at them empirically, they're kind of non-characters.
Yeah.
They have some cool moments, and their best stuff is being menacing in History of Trunks. But in the series proper, they're not exactly great characters with a lot of personality. In fact, 18 basically becomes a trophy wife for Krillin.
Yeah.
But, you know, 18 develops her own kind of sarcastic,
Yeah, like in
bitchy
the Blue
personality.
Saga and then so forth.
Which I like. I like the fact that she is no nonsense, constantly just kind of done with everyone's shit. And the best part about 18 in Super is that she loves Krillin, and you can tell that. She's constantly like backing him up, or, you know, and in her own way. It's never as mushy, and it's not like Videl.
Fidel's great.
Yeah, Videl. Yeah,
Videl was great.
Videl.
What do you mean was?
Well, before, you know, they basically turned her into a baby machine.
I'd fuck her.
I mean, who wouldn't? But
Yeah, I
I'm
mean-
saying
Her super design is way better than her Z design. I'm sorry. I just prefer it.
I don't really remember her Z design very much, but I do like her Super design. I mean, when you talk about her Z design, you mean end of Z?
Both. Pigtails or short hair. Oh, you mean end of Z, like the...
Okay, no, this guy's wrong
Yeah,
and needs
he's
to get off of our show.
No.
Sorry, short-haired Videl is best Videl.
I mean, she technically does have short hair in Super.
I mean,
And
like,
that
fucking
design is just super cute.
pixie cut Videl.
speaking of Videl, Gohan and Piccolo also get recruited.
Thank you for getting us back on track.
Yes.
I'd fuck
Although we should talk. Okay, so 17's
Well, yeah, back to
introduced.
17 then.
17's got a family. 17's been ranging a park, which all of 17's stuff was taken from an interview with Toriyama. That's the one thing we should point out, is that everything about 17 was taken from an interview with Akira Toriyama for one of the colored tankabones, and we actually made some jokes about that stuff, but people didn't know that we got the material from the tankobone. So we got a lot of people saying, Toei took your idea to range the park. And I'm like, no, guys, whoa. Toei takes nothing from us, except for maybe Ghost Snap on that one episode. I'm putting that as a possibility. But the only thing that, like, the only reason that we knew about the whole park ranger thing was Toriyama talked about it beforehand, so no. But yeah, 17's back. His design is actually pretty streamlined but cool looking.
Yeah.
And he's also kind of nihilistic, because when Goku goes up to him and says, hey, so if we don't do this, the entire universe is going to get destroyed, 17's like,
Eh.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting take for him to go with, just like, if the universe goes, I mean, I'm going with my family, so really, it's kind of all the same to me. I'm just like, well, I mean, I guess that's a way to look at it, 17, but, you know, we could, like, really use your help.
Nah, fuck you.
You know, it kind of makes sense, because people. So here's an interesting thing. When a conflict is too big, people will actually freeze or act like nothing is wrong, because it is immediately outside of their scope. For 17 here, he's like, that sounds like it's a whole lot of trouble. I don't give a fuck, whatever. And I can sort of get that.
Yeah.
It just comes off as awfully existential nihilism. Like, I don't care about.
I
the
find
universe.
it weird that the guy who is so concerned with nature is the guy who's nihilistic. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's what's weird.
It's
to me.
ironic.
I feel like 18, that would be a take I could almost see coming from her. But 17, the guy who's devoting his life to protecting nature, which
With
is
kids.
which is a giant scope. Like, I feel like he would be like, no, like, at least if anything, I want to make sure the nature lives on. Like, but with 18, I could definitely see this is beyond our pay grade, guys. We
Is
should
it-
take our lumps and just go.
Am I going to get money out of it?
Also, so Gohan decides that it's better to keep the fact that the losers get erased.
I
Why?
hated that.
That was
hated that.
right.
That was probably the biggest thing when it came to like the recruitment, of it, I fucking hated it.
I could see that being the like. Look, let's not tell like Chi-Chi, Bulma. Like, let's not tell
I
them.
understand.
Let's not tell Goten Trunks. Like, let's not freak them out. But like the people who are coming to compete, they should probably let them know.
Like, it's all understandable.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, but it's just bullshit. Because in the end, they're just like, they find out.
Yeah.
And I get it, but there's like no real punishment for it.
And there's no conflict. There's no reason for them not to know. And when Krillin's like, man, I don't know about doing all this. I don't know about fighting about this. And then Android 18's like, yeah, I'm not going to do it unless I get money. And I'm like, what is wrong with you?
And then Bulma comes and saves the day.
Can we talk about how poorly written some of these characters are? Like, I'm going to jump a huge gun and talk. I'll go all the way to the last episode of this series. When Android 18 runs up to 17 and
Are you
says,
sure you want to bring back the universes? I thought you wanted a boat.
Fuck that bitch. Like, fucking kill her. Fucking...
what is with these writers and making these characters dumb as hell?
It's funny. It's comedy.
I'm not even sure that it's... but here's the thing. I'm not even sure that part was supposed to be played for comedy. I'm not sure any of this stuff was supposed to be played for comedy. I think it was supposed to be conflict, and that's dumb as hell.
Silly Kaiser.
Like,
It's funny.
But yeah, so we also get the recruitment with Gohan, who gets his ultimate form back.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
Oh, okay.
I'm all about it.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that a state of being was something you could suddenly lose.
Okay, hold on. Now, to be fair, I think that people can meditate, they can find their focus, find their center, and you can lose that. Like, over time, you can not meditate and not focus on it and lose your ability to find your center or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
To be fair, Gohan didn't sit in a spot while having an old man walk around him for over fucking, what was it, 24 hours?
Yeah. And
In a long time.
yeah, he did that, and then it unlocked his hidden potential. How did he lose that? How do you just
Because he didn't
lose
sit
that?
down for another 24 hours.
God damn it. Saab,
We had to right back in the weird thing that happened at the end of Z that Toriyama probably forgot about, and as did most of Toei Animation when they showed him going Super Saiyan against Frieza.
Oh my God.
And just
No.
be like, oh, that's right, he's got that, he doesn't have to do that anymore. And we never really specified, you know, could he go Super Saiyan in this form or not? I guess he can, but it's weird that he seems so
Right.
weak now. And
Right. Oh
so
my God,
really
that's
it was
crazy.
just them, I think, backtracking on mistakes made by multiple parties and conflicting information.
Man, the
And-
ending makes me so mad of Super.
Although,
but
let's
we'll
talk
get
about
to
that,
it.
that fight between Goku and Gohan's fucking cool, though.
I fucking love that because it showed that Gohan didn't give a shit if he was a god or not in like that realm. I'm like, yes, please, my boy,
Yes.
finally. And
As-
then it's like, never mind.
As somebody who really liked Gohan for a long time and wanted Gohan to be a consistently well-written character, and Toei Animation had no interest in doing that, and Toriyama had no interest in doing that, it was still good to see Gohan have some cool big moments here, even though his character has been mangled utterly by in terms of narrative intent.
As someone who is on record saying when Gohan goes Super Saiyan 2 back in the Cell games,
Oh,
that is my all-time favorite part of all of Dragon Ball.
I can dig it.
From beginning to end, every single bit of Dragon Ball media, that is my favorite segment of the entire thing. I was fine with the idea of in Super Gohan being like, I'm not a fighter anymore, I'm a dad.
Yep.
And just being like, I'm done with fighting. I just wish they would stick with one or the other.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
fact that
Can't
he
have
keeps
both.
the fact that he keeps being so wishy-washy on it infuriates me because I genuinely thought it was a really touching scene. Zooming back to the Goku Black arc, when Trunks is talking to Gohan and being like, "You're way different than the Gohan I ever knew," and Gohan being like, "Well, I've got a family to protect now. Like this is my life now." I was like, "That's really touching and beautiful," and I am fine if we never see Gohan fight again from this moment on because I think that's like a beautiful end to his character. But they keep pulling him back, but it's always like half-heartedly
teasing us.
of just like, actually, no, Gohan's still great, but not that great. It's just like, just let the guy have his life then.
Shout out to Gohan Blanco, am I right?
Yeah, like if Gohan had been the
am I
one who
right?
dropped out instead of Boo in the 11th hour, I would have been fine with that. honestly.
Gohan, as I said, yeah, you're exactly right. They can't decide if they want him to be a fighter or if they want him to be a family man.
Because, like, I'm okay with, like, badass Gohan, but I'm also perfectly okay with, it's in Gohan's character. He is Mr. I don't like fighting. I don't like doing this.
Oh, so my thing with Gohan is, it's okay if he trains. Because, like, the thing is that, like, once the Resurrection F arc, he was like, Piccolo, I need your help. I need to stop being such a weak bitch. I need to at least have, like, power to protect my family. And I was like, okay, that's understandable.
That's a fair
And
motivation.
the first thing he does is not train.
It took him.
But I got this conference I gotta go to. And
It took him arcs.
2 arcs. It took him 2 arcs.
He meditated. You saw that opening.
And he wasn't even in the Universe 6 arc because he was at a conference.
It's fine.
It's not. It's
It's-
no. The worst part is
he's a
he
family
says
man.
I'm gonna go train. I need to be able to protect my family. And then in the next arc, oh, I've got to go on this conference. And the arc after that, oh yeah, I'm not training anymore. I'm just spending time with my family. Hi, Trunks. Would you like some ice cream?
Yes.
Okay.
I would.
What's the point of having him talk to Piccolo about training and getting stronger if for 2 whole arcs they're just going to undo that? Like,
The answer
Christ.
is procrastination.
Oh man. Yeah, which reminds me, I need to get back to the gym today.
There it is.
So ultimately, Gohan's character is a large drop ball throughout this entire series, and here they try and we'll get back to Gohan as we get into the tournament.
Right.
But he's got his own problems. But you know who doesn't have problems? Fucking Frieza doesn't have problems.
Man,
that was a twist I really liked.
That should've-
when that was like revealed, I was actually pretty psyched about that.
Interesting.
I liked it and hated it at the same time.
Oh, I
And
fucking hated the
I
idea.
hated that I liked it.
Yeah.
I hated that I liked it.
Yeah, we
That's
all-
the
That's
best way to
fair.
describe it.
Fucking, it was a terrible idea. Like,
It's-
let's be honest. Like on the
It's
wall.
terrible because they just brought him back and killed him. And
Yes.
it's like, you know what? It's kind of like how there's the Universe 6 tournament, and then it's like, there's an arc, let's have another tournament arc. It's kind of like that bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Frieza, yeah, give it, and he's back.
Let's have another
Like,
Frieza
what the
arc. But we
fuck?
already scheduled a tournament arc. Guys, I have an idea.
I mean, let's be honest. Resurrection F and its arc are the worst. Are maybe some of the worst parts of Dragon Ball. Like we gave Resurrection F number 7 in our list of movies, but it won that on a lot of different qualities. But narratively, it is terrible.
It's
It
funny.
is.
It's more. I think what they were trying to do with Resurrection F, because it was after Gods, Battle of Gods. A lot of people complained how it had more humor and a lot of talking rather than fighting. And Resurrection F, they try to do the reverse, and I feel like that's why it wasn't, as good as people wanted it to be.
Yeah, they wanted there to be more fighting in Resurrection F, which, like Resurrection F had some cool stuff. Like let's talk about like them fighting all the soldiers. That was cool.
Yeah.
Like the beatdown from Vegeta and Frieza is so nice to watch. But the main attraction, Goku versus Frieza, was utterly pointless. It's really bad. Unlike with Goku versus Beerus, which we were all wanting more because it was so cool
Yeah.
and built up to really well. Here we just have a bunch of really bad-looking like some decently animated fighting mixed in with some really bad-looking CG, and then an anti-climax that left us all really unsatisfied. And the Resurrection F arc does almost nothing to help solve
No,
that,
it
other
does
than
not.
increase Frieza's maliciousness and his sadism, which, yes, you can't have Frieza without his sadism. I'm sorry. It really just kind of makes him feel like a sniveling piece of shit unless you have him being violent and dangerous. He has to be. So when in this arc, we get a reintroduction of Frieza, and what is the first thing he does?
Before we get into it, about the Resurrection F movie, they should have used more of Frieza's theme, that metal one.
Oh,
You might be
the
right.
Frieza song.
Yeah,
I'm here or there on it.
I love it, and they should have used it more. Anyway,
So what's the first thing that happens when Frieza shows up in the recruitment arc?
they hold hands.
I'm trying to remember.
Yes,
He,
they do.
oh yeah, he like Goku and him like punch each other with just like, oops, my hand slipped.
Yeah, first of all, the art and animation for that part, the framing, the storyboard was so good.
Oh my God, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Forgot about that. That was a minute.
Yeah, I know, right? Like where he's leaned over and that those faces, and it's like,
I loved and how they had Frieza transform in that episode. That's how it should have been the first time.
yeah, that got reused a bunch of times.
Yes, it did. But the first time I saw that thing, I'm like, that's.
No,
I believe it.
That whole episode is beautiful, like
Yeah.
top to bottom. And when he so when that other universe shows up, like we're here to stop you from recruiting these people and kill you, so your whole fucking universe is knocked out. Frieza just fucking blasts him. It's like, I'm sorry, were you talking? Because I have literally a billion things better to do than listen to this.
Like live.
Yeah, and then he just murders all of those assassins in a violent, merciless manner, and I'm just over here like, this is some good tea.
The poor families of those assassins. Their bodies are entirely different universes. You will
Remember when
never
Frieza
see
had
them
an army?
again.
Frieza had a lot of armies. Frieza's got an army by the end of the series again somehow, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so Frieza's return is great. I'm sorry, and I hated the idea. And I'm happy to say when I am wrong, because I was on Twitter. I'm like, this idea is dumb. We're losing Boo for Frieza again. Why?
I didn't like that trade. I will
Oh,
fully
yeah. No,
I
that
will fully
trade
say that
sucks.
that trade was a bad trade in my mind.
we
But
got Roshi and a Gimped Ten Shinhan.
yeah. If anything, I wish it was like Roshi wasn't showing up, but then again, Roshi brings a lot of Dragon Ball. So
I would rather keep Roshi and kick out Tien.
well, with what they did to him, yes.
Yeah, no, I would rather Roshi, like less rapey Roshi than terrible, like ruined Ten Shinhan.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, no, but I fucking like on paper, like, cause there were those spoilers or whatever, and my friends told me it's like, oh yeah, Frieza's coming back. Apparently, it's official, and I was like, come on, this shit again. I'm like, and who's he replacing? Boo. I'm like, why? His fat ass fell asleep. I'm like, again? Come on.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
But then when he showed up and the animation for that, the way it was drawn, fuck you.
Yeah.
All right, you won me.
You got me.
The way
got me, you bitch.
the relationship between Goku and Frieza in those scenes felt amazing.
Yeah.
Like there's so much conflict there. There's like, but you can just tell at any point they want to kill each other.
Yeah.
And then when Frieza gives Goku that destructive energy, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm not really even gonna try and get you out of that. Do it yourself, bitch." And it's only because Beerus shows up. I thought that was great. I was 100% okay with that.
It was awesome. I really, like, a lot of people were like, man, I can't wait for Frieza to become Goku's newest best friend. I'm like, no, shut the fuck up.
The
Don't
Vegetification of Frieza. Let's do it.
No.
I don't want that.
Stop!
I don't want it either, but if we're gonna do it, I'm ready to jump.
If
head
you're going to
first.
go for it, you better go full fucking ham.
But so, all right, let's wrap up the
Recruitment,
pregame.
The boring bullshit. I'm kidding.
See, you
There were
say
more
that.
boring episodes in the tournament itself.
Yeah. So, SO. We have the tournament now. He's got all the people together. Boo's out. Frieza's in.
Mr. Satan gives a panic phone call. Boo doesn't want to go. I'm
He
sorry.
fell asleep.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Man, you should have been Mr. Satan in our show. So, so what happened was, so what happens is they all go there. There's an exhibition tournament with with some of the gods of destruction who aren't participating, which was okay, better in the manga. I know.
Okay, no, I have to bring it. I have to bring it up. now.
It's way better in the manga.
The original exhibition match was
All
all
of
the gods
them.
of destructions.
That's neat.
And the best part about it is, Kitela and Beerus have fucking beef.
Yep.
The cat and the mouse.
Oh, that's great.
And it's good. It's like we won't. There's barely any more of the manga to talk about after this.
Read
but-
the manga.
Yeah.
Just read the manga for that, because it was fucking awesome.
And it also shows you that Beerus is actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
Which
no.
I'm happy about. I'm sorry. They have fucking wasted Beerus this entire show.
Yep.
And in the manga, we see, by the way, yeah, he might be one of the strongest gods of destruction.
Yeah.
Like, he readily handles a lot of the other guys in clever and neat manners. And I'm like, okay, no, that's cool.
It's so wicked because they like hint at like Ultra Instinct, and then like as Whis is in the middle of talking about it, he like fucks up, so they grab him, and it's like, oh, yeah, he's still learning. The manga's so fucking good, dude.
Yeah, it's good shit. So the tournament starts, and so let's go back to Gohan. Gohan's team leader. That's neat. Gohan's team leader because he's smart, as far as we know. He goes to conferences.
He's a scientist. We'll let him be team leader.
Yeah.
Not that anyone's gonna listen to him other than Piccolo.
Even
I'll
though
listen to you, son.
even though Krillin and Piccolo both point out his terrible flaws in being in strategy. Like, oh, by the way, this isn't a one-on-one fight. This is multiple people. You've got to look out for not getting knocked out of the ring and this and that. And I'm
Why
like,
don't you have like Krillin or fucking Roshi be the leaders or some shit? Or Piccolo.
Roshi being the actual all right, I can't fight a lot of these guys, so I'm gonna tell you what to do. I thought that would have been great. Have the real martial arts master who's been alive for over 100 years sit back and tell them this is the strategy that you want to use.
What a fucking shame.
Yeah, instead we get Gohan because, again, they want to make Gohan the smart fighter. Guess what?
He ain't either.
He seems to be neither most of the time.
Nobody's a smart
And he's
fighter.
not a good dad either, because he's going to fucking conferences.
You fucking Vidal, you're not in conferences. You're off fighting in tournaments. Woman, I'm providing for this house.
How? How are you paying? Answer that.
That's right. The money's all coming from your side, isn't it? Shoot. I gotta go to another conference.
Remember when she bought him a fucking book? And he felt bad.
Anyway,
It was a very special book.
I can't remember if it's Krillin or Gohan or maybe a mix of people who make the astute observation that, hey, it doesn't seem like every universe brought 10 people. Maybe some of them are hiding something. And which I thought was like a good, laying the groundwork for some stuff might pop off here, and we're not really ready for what it's going to be. Unfortunately, what it turned out to be wasn't all that exciting, but it was nice that they, from the start, were going not everybody's showing all their whole hand here.
Yeah, and it's totally not because we don't have some character designs finished yet.
Whatever.
No. And when
least
we did
presents an
finish them,
interesting idea.
they were some designs.
Yeah, there are a lot of characters in this arc. There's certainly a lot of characters. So yeah, we get a bunch of different universes, which we never really covered this. But yeah, the entire point, one of the entire points made. So we gotta talk about this because I feel like it's a really big part of this arc. Goku goes to Zeno, the Omni Kings, and he's like, "Hey, so we're gonna do that tournament, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's do the tournament." And so, boom, tournament happens.
Mm-hmm.
And the Grand Priest is like, whoever loses gets erased. And that's like, oh, shit.
Wait a minute, this wasn't... I thought this was just going to be fun.
That wasn't part of the plan. That wasn't part of the deal at all. But yeah, so as it turns out, they're going to erase all of the universes that lose. And...
Why was that?
Well, there are a couple of different reasons that you could
What's the
probably
reason we're
espouse.
presented with at the beginning here?
Well, that's the thing. So the argument could have been made that they're pointless. Whatever. They're just universes. Well, they're no matter
Who
what.
cares? They're all pawns in our game.
Yeah. And the idea that could have been given was Zeno came up with these rules because he wants you to fight the hardest you can. He feels like if your lives aren't on the line, if everything isn't on the line, you won't fight to a 100%. But no, that's not even what we get. So here's my problem. So they do this whole thing with Goku suggesting the tournament. So he's the one who just put everybody in danger, right? Mm-hmm. He's the one who just
Let's
basically...
throw him under the bus.
Yeah, he's the reason that all these people are going to die, right? Except no. And the worst part is everyone responds to him like it's his fault, like he got everybody killed. And then they drop on us that Zeno was going to erase all of these universes because they were too low of a mortal level anyway.
But people
I didn't like that. I didn't like that the way they presented that because then they made Goku the hero again.
Yes, because now Goku just gave them an opportunity to live. He gave them the opportunity to survive. He gave them a chance. So in retrospect, if Goku hadn't done that, not only would his universe likely been erased, so would have all of theirs, no matter what. And yet they still act like he's the villain. They never, ever...
Yeah, no one ever apologizes.
No one ever apologizes or recognizes that Goku just saved all of their asses. And in the end, will still have saved all of their asses. Because of course he was going to win, or their methods were going to save everybody. Which, spoiler alert, They do. So, but go ahead, Saab.
The fucking ending
Well,
really. I know we'll get to it, but
Yeah.
I just gotta say, fuck that ending a little bit, just a little bit.
We'll talk about that when we get there.
Fuck that
I know,
a little bit.
I know.
It's a long
So,
ride.
but Goku's character here had a great opportunity to actually be the source of conflict for everybody and have him be in a spot like. So one of the overarching themes about this arc is power through your own means. What does it mean to get strong and how? Like, a lot of characters have to deal with that in this arc very specifically. The Universe 6 Saiyans, Android 18 even has a little bit of that with Krillin. We have Ribrianne, the power of love. We have Jiren, power from within. We have Topo, the god of power of destruction. We have power through everyone's different means. We have
Frieza.
we kind of have Frieza, but he's not really there. He doesn't.
No, the end.
The one universe, it's basically a universe of cheaters.
Oh,
Power
yeah.
through deception.
Fuck him.
We even have power, like we have Vegeta, like power, like I'll get stronger my own way, and we'll get to that dumb bullshit later. And here we have a way of like, hey, is becoming stronger worth putting people at risk? Because we have the Justice League basically. We have the Pride Troopers, a bunch of superheroes, like leaders of justice.
Justice.
Yes.
Sorry, I had to do one.
Then we have Goku and his gang, which are basically all reformed criminals, villains, tyrants, and a guy who's just got a boner for fighting.
Yeah.
And they had opportunities to show, why do you get strong? Like, what is your purpose? And is it worth putting people in danger, etc.? And that's just way too deep for Dragon Ball, but they introduced these possibilities. They put them on the table of like, hey, so here's a real actual moral conflict. Oh, what's that? No, fuck that. We're just going to get back to the fighting.
Fun fight
Okay.
times? All right.
Fine. Don't introduce that stuff if you're not going to do anything of value with it. And they don't.
Fuck you. This is Dragon Ball.
I
Do
know.
you
Well-
think they give a shit?
Well, that's kind of the thing.
Well-
Is I feel like Dragon Ball normally had the, maybe not the active choice or presence of mind for it, but I feel like it never presented these ideas, so it never felt shallow because you weren't given that comparison
Yeah.
within the source material.
That's why I don't like Zamos very much.
Yeah.
Because he's a character who has so much room to actually be complex and deep and interesting.
He is a Bleach villain stuck in Dragon Ball.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's the worst Bleach villain.
Yeah.
He's like a Bleach filler villain. And that's why I'm like, damn it. Like, Zamos could have been way better if they had just actually given him a little bit more time to get to know people and then grow a reasonable disdain for them, other than just being, oh, he's a god, so obviously he thinks they're all terrible.
What's weird is, and like, I'm sure we'll talk about this more, but I feel like Super has kind of consistently dropped the ball with villains or like antagonists, and I think with Zamos and Jiren, I feel like are the opposite side of a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Where
Yeah.
Jiren has like no personality, nothing. He is just a force. And it's like that I can get the idea, but I hate that. But then on the other side, there's Zamos, who is just obnoxious and overflowing with diatribes and just can't stop talking. And that's infuriating in its own way. And it's like, if we just could have shot down the middle with these guys, had someone who seems like a force of nature, but also has a fun, interesting personality to go with it, we could have had something really cool.
Isn't it crazy how like Jiren ended up just becoming another Broly?
No. I don't think so.
I think so. Like he just became like when we found out his reason, his backstory, I'm like, this is the most boring bullshit ever.
Well, we can talk about Jiren, and we'll talk about Jiren here in just a minute, because I think we're about to start getting into character territory.
Oh God.
But as we get into the tournament proper, we start to see all the fighting happen, and it's pretty simple stuff at first. It's crazy. Everyone's
Yeah.
fighting each other. We get to see Krillin, Krillin in 18 in a really cool moment.
Real quick, I just want to kind of get the feel of the table. When they announced that it wasn't going to be like one-on-one fights, it was instead going to be a big battle royale. What was your
I liked
takeaway
it.
I
from
thought that was
from that?
fucking wicked.
Yeah, 100%. We've never had a battle royale on
Yeah.
the show. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, okay.
The only thing I didn't like about it was the small stage. I was like, oof. You kind of like, it's really difficult to kind of you make it easier for everyone to see the action, but you are also really limiting what you can do in terms of the environment, which they basically fix by destroying the ring in a bunch of cool ways. So I was like, you know what? Okay, you basically turn it into another rocky wasteland, but at least it's not just a flat top anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I kind of had the same reaction. I thought it was an interesting take. I personally wish it kind of would have gone more a la the Yu Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament, where like as teams they could have like been like, all right, let's have like a 3-on-3 or something, or like and just like divided that way. But I can also see how that would have been, more difficult and shown. Like I feel like it would have given individual characters a chance to shine better. But the idea of a battle royale is still really cool. So I'm not going to immediately fault that from the get-go. How they might have done it, I may have thought there were better ways, but the concept as a whole I don't think is bad.
What about you?
I really liked it. I thought it was definitely different, especially like after there was the Zamasu arc in between, but like it's nice that after having this bracket tournament that it's like, all right, we're doing another tournament arc. Oh, great.
Yeah.
But it's everybody fighting at once. I was like, wait, what the fuck? How are they doing that? So like just seeing people on the internet like taking every little snippet and putting them, it's like, so this is what's happening at once. Like while this person's fighting, and it's really hard to translate in anime.
Yes.
But man.
All right. Oh, we should also talk about. So how dumb was it to make a 48-minute time limit? Because
Why?
I thought it was the absolute worst idea to even have a time limit in the first place. But 48 minutes?
Why 40 minutes? Why
They
not
should have
an
definitely
hour?
had a time limit. 48 minutes seems like a weird choice because that will make things feel rushed. And when you want things to breathe, it's going to give them an excuse to rush through it. And that is real unfortunate.
I'm just really glad they didn't pull after it's 1 minute remains, and then it's this whole 30-minute episode, and it's
I feel like that's what they were doing there at the
30
end.
They did that.
No, but they didn't say it.
No,
they did.
Though.
They didn't
The
say
end-
30 seconds.
Every episode ended with only 2 minutes remain or something.
But what I'm saying is at those last episodes, after they said,
Oh yeah,
Wow,
they
okay.
dropped it.
They're 60 seconds remain. It's what the fuck happened in this episode? Then?
Yeah, but when you hear 1 minute remains, that's when we started getting Jiren's backstory. That's when Vegeta fights him. That's when Goku gets mastered Ultra Instinct.
Man,
Yeah.
they don't know a
Jesus.
sense
Yeah,
of time.
Fucking Christ, that was the worst.
Also, just a conceptual thought process real quick. Goku learns about Ultra Instinct,
Man.
experiences it for the first time, masters it, all in the span of maybe 30 minutes.
Masters it.
Well, he does. He learns the full form. He learns the
Apparently better than, I guess it's
Gods
implied Beerus.
Who have been
Yeah.
training their lives to learn this.
Yeah, let's not talk about how bad this
Not that-
show handles time.
Yeah, not
because-
that Dragon Ball hasn't always had a problem with time dilation and things, happening in quick succession.
Yeah, but this was
in
the
universe.
worst example of it by far. This is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure levels of time dilation cranked up to 11. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And it was one of the worst decisions in this arc. Also, no one ever dies, so the whole no killing thing is a red herring of a rule. Mm-hmm. It's like a Chekhov's gun. Oh, cool. So who's gonna kill somebody and get disqualified? Nobody. Nobody dies and nobody kills anybody. No.
Frost kind of threatens
Yeah,
it.
that's exactly what I was thinking. He fucked up, but
Yeah, but Frost got eliminated for trying to take place in the tournament after being knocked out.
Yeah.
So,
Fuck 'em.
yeah. Oh, yeah. But so, yeah, the rules were kind of arbitrary in some ways. The no flying thing I thought was good.
Yes.
I feel like no flying was a good decision, and for the most part, they did utilize that pretty well. At times, also, they kind of just flubbed it.
Yep.
They're technically not.
They're
flying.
jumping really high and forward.
Man,
Yep.
fuck him.
Yeah. But yeah, so tournament starts. Everyone's fighting. We get some cool stuff with Android 18 and Krillin that I really liked. We get some, reintroduction to some characters. They get to use some of their abilities. Tin Shinhan basically just fucks everything up.
Yeah.
Tin Shinhan's whole episode with his Kage Bunshin, making shadow clones essentially.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I've seen Naruto. They do it 10 times better there.
Well, to be fair, the multiform technique is something that Tien has, utilized in the past. It just felt real, oh, that's right, he has this move. I guess we could use that. Let's do it. And
it's very poorly done because the animation and storyboard and even concept and narrative fall immediately to the toilet because they don't know how to use it in any compelling manner.
just, all right, Tenshin Han, make 4 of yourself and then tri-beam out in a big direction and just see how this works.
Doesn't that half his power?
Yeah, but you can just get one big burst out there and at least blow something away rather than sacrificing yourself to knock out one dude.
Yeah, it's blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, point being, yeah, he sacrifices himself to take out one guy.
So I don't think we see him knock anyone else out, as far as I know.
Tien sucks.
I don't want him to, though.
Tenshin Han doesn't suck, though. Not in
Super makes Tenshin Han suck.
Super made Tenshin Han suck. He never sucked in Dragon Ball. He was awesome in Dragon Ball. Just saying.
I mean, yeah.
But he's not the first one of our heroes knocked out.
Yeah, Krillin's the first one knocked out. And you know
What
what?
a fucking shame.
Man, no, I'm okay with that. Like, Krillin getting knocked out first is part of a long line of running jokes, but he also actually gets some good moments, so it's fine.
Didn't he knock
And
out
he's-
like 3 or 4 people?
And he's knocked out defending 18, right? Like, doesn't he get
Yeah.
her back
Yeah.
in to get out?
I'm pretty sure he's knocked out defending 18, and also they get a great moment together.
Yeah.
I was actually totally happy with that. It was a great way to give Krillin his moment, but also be like, yeah, but it makes sense that he's one of the first knocked out.
The only thing I was disappointed with him getting knocked out so early is I really wanted there to be the 3 turtle people to have all had a moment together, like Roshi, Goku, and Krillin, all 3 doing
that
some
would've been cool.
some combo turtle move.
Yeah,
but,
I agree.
Like
but-
Roshi gets down.
Yeah.
Kind of like the moment that Gohan had with Piccolo, but
Yeah.
Roshi gets down and then fucking Krillin and Goku are there to protect
Because
him.
I basically saw Roshi being there as and we're gonna have the turtle school do something sick, and I was like, all right, cool,
Your
I'm
squad.
waiting for that, and just never got to
Oh,
happen.
geez.
But that was just me reading something and that wasn't there to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that you want and just things that you don't get, and with that, sometimes that just happens. You have to deal with it. But there are a lot of times in this arc in particular that I feel like there were missed opportunities or things that were on the table that we really wanted and just did not get more often than not. But that being said, who knew Android 17 was going to suddenly be really cool?
Not me.
Yeah.
Especially not me, because I'm like, man, these androids fucking suck. And then this art
Mr.
just
Poo Poo and the
this
androids
art
over here.
just changed my opinion about both of them. Like I'm just like shit, because I watched episode 130 and 131 with some friends, and then when I just saw even the episode when 17 sacrificed himself, I was just like,
Yeah, no,
you
because-
made me care. Fuck.
Yeah, right? Because Android
Very human
17
thing to do.
Android 17 comes in here and he's no nonsense.
Yeah.
He just when Ribrianne and her gaggle
sorry, we
try
were
and
fighting.
transform. Yeah, and he just blasts them.
I thought
which-
it was Freeze at first, and when the camera pans to 17, I was like, this is also a very good development.
Yeah, no, it's good shit. I'm very happy to see that Android 17 not only takes no shit, but is also just a great fighter in this.
Yes. Yeah.
He kicks the shit out of the Ribrianne trio.
Oh, go on.
He shows off all these cool techniques with his barrier, which he makes it his barrier, his
He
thing.
finally establishes himself kind of as his own character, because I feel like,
Instead of just like a twin.
yeah,
Yes.
he felt like part of a set, and now he feels like he is.
That's
like-
what I felt like in the Android saga originally. I'm just like, when one of them's gone, I don't give a shit. And even then, it's to me, they just felt like fodder for Cell.
That's fair.
By the way, make sure to get a little quick closer. Yeah, not too close. You don't have to. Okay, in there.
Perfect.
But yeah,
I even liked that Gohan, there was a moment where Gohan and 17 were having to work together against someone, and 17 at some point is like, Gohan, stop trying to compliment me. I
Yep.
work alone, and that's how it will work best. You do what you're good at. Just
Yeah.
like he was smarter than Gohan. He fought better
Get
than
the fuck out of here, Gohan.
Yeah, and what's also really cool about him is that he's dry. He's got this dry sense of humor that works incredibly well.
Yeah.
In Dragon Ball, yeah.
Yeah, where I remember I think Marin or Goten, somebody asked him, "How old are you?" and he says, "I'm 17." And it's this terrible joke just delivered very plainly, and I'm like, God
Flat.
damn it. Yeah, no, he's He's funny, he's dry, but he's got a personality in this, and he kicks everybody's fucking ass. And then, at the very end, he gets to beat fucking Anilaza, that big old fucking towering.
Oh,
whatever,
yeah.
which basically is just a ripoff of Hachiak,
Yeah,
which is a
that's-
weird callback, but it's also a great scene.
I liked it.
Yeah. And then he gets to, he sacrifices himself, but doesn't. Spoiler.
That is maybe my biggest problem is I liked the idea of him sacrificing himself. I thought that was cool. I also like how the resolution works out. I hate that both of those things had to happen.
Well,
Right.
let's get back to that. Let's get back to that.
Okay, we'll
So-
find our way there.
Yeah. So we have. Oh, the Ribriand trio is also great.
I like them.
They were around too long.
Yes,
Yes,
I was going to say
yes.
conceptually I'm into them.
Yeah.
Execution maybe not.
Yeah. They were around too long. I would have taken out one of their sequences, one of their
Yes.
fights, but it was all worth it to me to watch Android 18 Asura Wrath punch that bitch through the head.
Yeah.
It was great.
I could when I was watching that scene, I'm like, am I watching this in Dragon Ball? Am I watching Android 18 run up a giant's arm with her brother shielding her, and then she punches through the head with the power of love for her husband?
Yeah, no, that was pretty great.
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. So you're gonna hear a lot of negativity about this arc from us, and especially as we get into the later half of it. But man, Android 18, Android 17, Krillin, even Roshi gets some cool stuff.
Yeah.
His episode is actually very well
Mafuba.
storyboarded and works really well. Some of these characters get really cool moments. But as you're going to find out, the biggest problem with this saga is that it is nothing but that.
Yeah.
A series of cool moments connected by bullshit.
I feel like we were all Beerus. Whenever one of them got eliminated, it's like, yeah, I remember your name now because you did that cool
Yeah,
thing that
nice-
made me
nice
respect you a
job.
little bit.
Except for you, the three-eyed guy. You didn't really get
Yeah,
a moment,
Tien,
but everybody
get the
else.
fuck out of here. Roshi, my man. Don't rate.
Yeah, please, if you could just avoid that in future tournaments.
Just don't. It's fine.
So, but as we get closer, we need to talk about two of the biggest wild cards in this whole tournament.
Okay.
The little mini guy. Sorry. Go ahead.
Kale and Caulifla.
Yeah.
So Kale and Caulifla are a little bit controversial. Caulifla much less than her compatriot Kale. Kale is a demure lesbian who's actually Broly.
Fuck Broly.
I mean, yeah, fuck Broly. Look, Broly in a vacuum is fine. It's what happened after Broly. It's what happens around Broly. Because Broly is fine in his movie and in his own little space, but the popularity of Broly, the cult of personality with Broly, the fans of Broly are kind of the worst part of Broly because they want all the worst parts of Dragon Ball out of that character, which is just nothing but meaningless punching and
levels.
violence and power levels.
It's just funny because I'm a fan of Broly, and when Kale showed up and just, was her, I'm like, oh, yeah, I prefer this. This is just me, though.
Yeah. And so to talk about the Broly situation with Kale, I think it was a bad idea. I just do. But I also think it was a bad idea, kind of done really funny.
Yeah.
Because I think making her an XP for Broly is a terrible idea, just in terms of that is not something Toriyama would do. He doesn't do that with his characters. It's weird and it's meta and it's just there to wink and nod at fans of the old stuff.
Giving them fan service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just not that's not Dragon Ball. On the other hand, I hate Broly. So to watch him get turned into demure lesbian, yeah, no, I'm kind of about that.
You're okay
It's-
with this
what's funny
other
is-
shoe dropping?
I've seen people do comics and stuff, and there was one where it's Broly and Kale, and Broly's like Kakarot, but Kale is like Goku-san.
No,
so it's
no, Son Goku.
yeah, Son Goku. But it's just funny. It's oh, they kept it, but
Still there.
she
I would
doesn't
love
know
to.
the name Kakarot.
I'd actually love to see Kakarot, Son Goku, Kakarot, Son Goku. It's just they're yelling at
Screaming
each other.
Fighters.
Yeah.
I'm
And
kidding. I don't know. If
I was actually really sad because I was hoping, Doesn't look like we're gonna get it. Some more information's been dropping, data leaks and stuff about the data. Doesn't look like we're gonna get Caulifla, Kale, or Kefla in Fighters, which makes me sad. Unless later, maybe like season 2 or whatever.
So
But-
to focus on
Yeah.
Kale and Caulifla for a second, just for me, I'll go ahead and throw out there. I don't like their designs. Like personally, I think they look. Like all 3 of the Universe 6 Saiyans, like their weird slender designs just feel really out of place to me.
Hey, Toei Animation, stop letting Toriyama's designs go through without some redesign. Take the basic concepts of them and then put muscle on them because he's drawing stick figures nowadays. Stop.
Yeah, like they just look really weird and out of place with most of the rest of the universe. The other thing is, I feel like, I mean, I can complain all day about how it's like, oh, they make Super Saiyan. It seems so easy for these people. Like that's a fair argument, I think, but I don't think it's also worth addressing. It's just one of those things that's like, whatever, we can live with it, deal with it. I think it's weird that we have Kale be Broly. Also, we're going to have them fuse. Like, I feel like we threw a lot at them to cover. And also, I think it's weird that I don't know. I might be forgetting. Does Vegeta really interact with them all that much? Because I feel like Vegeta seems distracted most of the time.
Vegeta has like maybe like one conversation with
I feel like I would have been way more interested in their situation if it was Vegeta doing all of this stuff.
I feel the reason they didn't do that was because of Kaba.
But see, that's kind of the thing, is I feel like Kaba and Vegeta like had this relationship of this like understanding of like there's a universe where the Saiyans got to live, and like Vegeta sees that and is like, you know, excited at that idea. I feel like he would be the one to be like, I want to interact with these other Saiyans.
You know what? That doesn't work. Caulifla and Kale see Goku as the strongest opponent in Universe 10 because it's it's 7, Universe 7.
Yeah.
It's basically stated.
Yeah.
Like, everyone recognizes, like, no, he's the strongest guy. So while Kaba looks to Vegeta as his master,
Yeah.
Caulifla and Kale look to Goku as how do you put this? As an opportunity to advance their own strength.
Yeah.
And
They're
that makes
very-
sense. And they, since Goku has no attachment to his Saiyan heritage, and Caulifla and Kale have no interest in talking about that with him, they're a perfect match because now they're all about fighting, whereas Kaba is about inner strength, pride, about protecting your like not your lineage but your culture almost. So for that, it makes more sense for Kaba's with Vegeta, Caulifla's with Goku.
Okay.
and
Caulifla
Kale
is
too.
definitely more like the female Goku. Not saying exactly. I'm just saying.
But
like,
no.
in the sense of like.
You want to
Yeah.
you want to be honest? If Kaba over here is more of an XP of Vegeta from Universe
no,
7,
Caulifla
Kale
is
is-
that of Goku.
Yeah.
Caulifla is totally Goku,
But
and that's
she
cool.
has more the personality, I think, of Radix. Like in the sense of like just like angry and like very like in the
Pushy.
sense of sadistic, pushy almost.
Kind of.
It's like a blend of both.
Yeah, it's
Know
kind of
what
like
I
if
mean?
you. It's kind of like
She's
if you.
Bardock.
There you go.
It's Bardock. It's Bardock after a couple of drinks, maybe. But yeah, no, Caulifla. I never thought about that. Yeah, but yeah, Caulifla is kind of like. Yeah, what if Goku was a girl and not really nice?
Not a family person.
And what if her, lover just happened to be Broly?
So we should talk about the fact that Kale was originally not a part of Toriyama's outline.
Really?
Yeah, no, Kale was never supposed to be in there.
I had no idea.
But Toei was like, yeah, but we're gonna though.
We need that money.
Yeah. Not to mention, they wanted their cute little Moe girl in there, and again, like Moe Yandere Broly. Again, fuck it. I like it. I like it because it's funny to me, and she's a great partner for Caulifla.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that she's an XP of Broly, and they didn't either. Because as soon as they could get rid of it, they did.
Yeah.
And then they replaced it with like,
Fusion.
well, they first replaced it with mastered
the
form.
control berserk.
Which cool form, by the
Yeah.
way. I liked that. But at that point, it's like, oh, cool. So you're kind of ceasing to be a character, and now you fused, and now you're just Caulifla with a redesign. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's neat. Also, Caulifla's costume sucks. So, or not Caulifla, Kale.
Kefla?
Kefla's costume sucks.
I like Kefla in her Super Saiyan 2 state, I guess, or Super Saiyan state. I don't
Yeah.
know. The design just looks way better with it than
Yeah.
normal state. I think the thing with Kale, like her design definitely suits more of the. I don't know I know they're Saiyans, but is there like Saladians? Because they're
Sadalans.
Oh yeah, the Sadalan style. Actually, it's kind of interesting because they just introduced Shallot in the Legends stuff, and he's got that same design too. So they're basically saying that he's either from the past or he's from that universe. So I'm very excited about Shallot in general. But you've got these really cool designs. Funny enough, Toriyama gave him a bunch of muscle. He looks beefy, which is nice to see. But with these characters, they're very skinny. They're very skinny,
I like it.
and I don't.
One of my favorite designs in Dragon Ball in recent years has been God Goku.
Well, see, I think that's fine. Like,
Yeah,
it's not that
because-
I'm mad that they're not these big, beefy people. Like,
No,
I'm
but,
fine
like-
with there being a more slender look. It's just their arms are just tubes.
Yeah,
Like,
which is why I think like Super Saiyan God Goku is like the perfect.
yes,
like,
like
balance
if
of
they looked
both.
like that, I'd be into it.
That's what I like because it's like somewhat reminiscent to like Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Rather than just like, because this is like Khalifa, Kale, and even Kaba. They're like Dragon Ball, but like if you thin them.
Yeah,
like
they're
noodles.
scrawny for OG Dragon Ball character
Yeah.
standards.
So my point ultimately being, like, I love their character concepts. I even like their designs for the most part, but they're not very cohesive with Dragon Ball. And again, Broly XP, whatever.
I like
but,
Khalifa's genie pants.
right? But okay, so at the end of the day, they're cool characters. I actually liked them. I liked their involvement in the tournament proper. I didn't like the power scaling, but we're not going to have that much of a conversation here because we've already. Anybody who's tuning into this has probably already seen the power scaling conversation. It was poorly handled and really rushed and kind of takes a lot of the impact from all the progress that Goku and other characters make by basically saying, yeah, but for story purposes, these guys can just fucking do it.
yeah.
Fuck power scale.
Yeah, fuck power scaling, fuck power levels. That shit's nonsense.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked that they introduced the idea of fusion for the tournament. Like
Yeah.
that is maybe my favorite contribution they make is the idea of like, oh yeah, that's right, we've got these earrings for fusion. It makes sense that one of the gods who would wield them is like, hey BT Dubs, you can use this. Like just just kind of keep it close to the vest because obviously if you get knocked out, that's both of you. But you'll get a big power jump when you use it. I'm like, I'm cool with that. That works for me.
I love how they toyed with like the idea of like 17 and 18 fusing. I thought that was really funny. It's like, what would they be? 20. Like they made up a random, like they added both numbers.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
would not have liked that at all.
I would have been very interesting. Well, I mean, they already have a fusion of them for Heroes.
Yeah, for Heroes, but I don't want that in canon Dragon Ball.
Don't
Keep
make it
that
real.
fan service shit over there.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? We got another movie coming out. We may have another show coming.
The
Nobody
only thing I
knows.
want canon is like Goku fighting himself as Super Saiyan 4. I think that'd be the most bullshit thing.
No, we're not talking about GT here. I refuse.
Still
mostly
could be canon.
because that's just a bigger, longer conversation. We're already sidetracked.
Yeah.
So we get two really cool characters with Kale and Caulifla. We get female Saiyans, which I'm gonna be that guy. Yes, I really wanted female Saiyans.
That's
I wanted,
also fine.
and that weren't shitty.
Yes.
'Cause-
Girls who contributed to something.
Yeah, girls who are fighters, who want to fight,
Yeah.
who want to stay involved.
Well,
who
yeah, contributed
don't-
to a fight.
Yeah,
rather.
who
Bulma
don't-
contributes plenty.
Yeah, 18 is the only girl in the entire show who fights.
Videl fight?
The only
Fought.
character in this show, in all of Dragon Ball, who
Past
fights.
tense.
I mean, Videl does have.
Oh, yeah,
actually-
no,
If we're gonna count
it's
Videl, then we
totally-
can also count Chi-Chi then.
Yeah,
Oh, fuck, yeah.
Man, don't get me. I am still sad about Videl, and I'm still sad about Chi-Chi.
Same.
Basically, just again getting turned into baby machines because, of course they do. And
Bulma
get
had a
mad
gun.
People get mad at me when I say like they get turned into baby machines. I'm like, fuck. What do you expect? Videl is a martial artist. She's actually good. She's making progress, and then boop.
To be fair, it's better than Launch.
It's all right,
who just
guys.
Literally
she
vanished.
gave birth to Pan, the new Super Saiyan god.
I'm sorry.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry. Pan in Super is fucking amazing. And I'm like, man, if GT is suddenly not canon anymore and they just decide
It's
they
not
want to go,
canon.
well, okay, there's longer conversation. But if they decide they really just want to go whole hog with like fuck GT, I hope Pan becomes the next Goku. That's what
fuck
I
yeah.
want. Like, I want Pan to be this awesome girl who wants to fight and is just
And then
wicked.
she puts on this bandana.
No,
and gets a
shut
chain
the fuck
wallet,
up, dude.
ready to go. All right.
You're a monster.
But yeah, we have awesome new characters here. Kappa kind of gets pushed to the background. He gets to turn Super Saiyan 2. I guess that's kind of neat.
It's a tingle in your back.
Yeah. Oh man, let's not talk about S cells. let's not talk S cells. Have you heard about the S cells?
No. Is that Saiyan levels? Is it
Oh.
basically the midichlorians for Saiyans?
Yes, that's the best way to describe
Okay.
it.
Yeah, no, it's literally midichlorians for Saiyans that Toriyama introduced.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I agree. It's the worst.
That's a real bad idea.
Yeah, in fact, that's how he explains why Kappa, Kale, and Cauliflower were able to turn.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Because Toriyama can do no wrong.
No, Toriyama.
yeah.
Toriyama's done a lot of wrong. You know, it's hilarious. I've been called out personally for defending Toriyama. Here's the thing. My honest opinion is that Toriyama barely has a real effect on whether or not this show is good anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yes, he gives the outlines, and he may have a say in things. That doesn't mean
saying things.
Gonna
Ooh,
catch it.
Okay. All right, I'll give you that one. He might have a say in how this happens and how this all turns out, but he just has a say. The writers need to sit down with these ideas and make them work, or just flat out say, yeah, no.
We need some workshopping on a lot of these
Little
ideas.
bit.
Yeah, I'm not saying Toriyama can do no wrong. I'm not, because I've seen Dragon Ball Minus. It's an abortion. I've seen, the SL stuff. That's fucking George Lucas awful bullshit. I've seen his concepts for other characters. His original concept for Jiren was Topo.
That made sense.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I like Topo more than
hold on,
Jiren,
hold
so
on,
that's
hold
good.
on. No, I fucked that up.
Saitama,
no,
of course.
No. Toei's original character for Jiren was Topo. Then Toriyama came in and said
And
no.
made Jiren.
Yes. This is his backstory. His parents, his family was killed by a villain.
Wow.
And here's the thing, that's not a problem.
Yawn.
I'd like to point out that that is not a problem. You can have a tragic backstory lead to a character. It's about how you write them. But Toei
Pathetic.
didn't. Toei didn't write Jiren. There's no writing for him. There's
He just happened.
Yeah, he's just there. And then his backstory gets like told by fucking Belmont at the last second, and then whoop, I guess Jiren's got a character now. That's cool.
A shitty character.
Yeah.
I just wanted, like, when Jared's like, and that's when they killed my family. And just, like, Frieza just go, boo-hoo, I killed both of these fuckers' families. Like, just pointing to Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah, we're still here. Like, fuck you.
See, and that's so. Let's get into Jiren and Goku because we're at that point now where I think we've kind of danced around a big.
Real quick, can I just, if we're gonna go straight into Jiren and Goku and kind of just go from there for the rest of their fight, I do want to point out how mad I am how Piccolo got shafted in particular.
Oh man, no! If we want to talk about the awful ways, every single one of the characters was knocked out because almost every one of the characters was knocked out in a bullshit, unsatisfying, unceremonious, and completely poorly
Thanks for
animated
helping
way.
out, Gohan.
I want to say Piccolo is the most egregious.
Yes,
because they literally have him defeated by the thing he's the best at is he can't figure out where his opponent is because he senses power but sees no one and then gets knocked out. And then 17 makes the astute observation, but I can hear him. He's really small. Piccolo's got those big fucking ears and hears better than everyone.
Yeah.
That's a power he has.
That was a Toei invention in the first place.
You know what?
That Toriyama then used
Someone
later.
was whistling. That's what it was. Someone was fucking whistling.
Yeah,
and
he
fucking
moved
with his
so
hearing.
fast the air
That's what it
whistles
was.
around
The
him.
ant was like,
Yeah,
Piccolo
that
just
would
couldn't
just
handle it.
Yeah, it's
That's part of his character that he can hear well. He hears Trunks tell about the future when he's like
fuck you,
1,000 feet
17.
away.
Well, and
17's
you know
got
what the
it.
problem was? That episode was rushed out, and it had a new writer.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah, that's why that happened. And by the way, so we don't think a lot about this. You know how Dragon Ball was all written by one dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, Toei Animation is has a staff of writers who work on Dragon Ball. Some better, some worse. That's why sometimes the story, sometimes its coherency, sometimes its narrative fall apart, is because nobody has a consistent feel of how to write these characters and how to properly utilize these characters.
But let us not forget the greatest thing, the greatest survivor. Hit is still in that ring to this
To
day.
this day. Man,
Fuck people, dude.
yeah, I know, right? No. So we get, so no, everybody's knocked out in terrible ways.
Yes.
Like Gohan's knocked out in kind of a crappy way. I can't even remember how Gohan was knocked out.
Oh, he sacrificed himself for Dispo.
Yes, yeah, he
Okay,
That
one
was really
actually,
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one I liked for the most part. But Tenshinhan's was bad. Krillin's was kind of whatever. 18's was saving 17, which is like, okay, sure, whatever.
Roshi was really cool.
Roshi's was like good. I wish he died.
Yeah.
I think him dying there would
would
have
have
been.
made way more impact.
And what if he couldn't be brought back?
Oof.
Yeah. What if like he died defending his universe?
What if this tournament had stakes and actual repercussions, Kaiser?
Fuck
Yeah,
this
we'll get
arc.
we'll get to that. So, yeah, everyone kind of gets knocked out in unsatisfying, unceremonious manners, and one of the worst of them is Vegeta's. But we'll get to that one. So we have okay. So I'm talking about Goku and Jiren now because from here on out we've already talked about a lot of the other stuff. So, Ultra Instinct.
Well, first we get to see Jiren beat the shit out of Goku
Everybody.
Blue.
Yeah.
In particular, like
Yeah.
This
like,
is your limit.
Yeah, we have him just like Goku ramping himself up, being like, yeah, I can do this. And then we have the great moment that I feel like happens with every major antagonist fight where someone in the audience goes like, but Goku, he can still use the Kaioken, so it's not like he's going full out. And then someone who's more astute goes, actually, he's been doing it the whole time.
Was that Beerus or Tien?
I think it was Beerus who said it this time. But I know Piccolo says it about him doing it to Frieza. And I feel like something along those lines happens with Cell, where Gohan's like, he's a. But anyway, it's just one of those things where like we get to see Goku Blue, as we expected, since I feel like at this point everyone was aware that another form was coming or something.
Yeah.
So it was going to be clear that Goku Blue isn't going to be enough to handle this.
No. I liked their fight well enough. Like, they had some cool animation, but again, you were also at that point, it's like, yeah, obviously it's not going, like, the climax is going to be Ultra Instinct. They've been hyping that shit.
Mm-hmm.
They've been showing the pictures. Everyone's like, yep, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And then they have the 1 hour special where, Goku uses the Spirit Bomb, which I was like, oh, wow. I
was psyched about that.
If you told me that the Spirit Bomb was going to come into play here and not be like the winner of it, like halfway through the tournament, I would have been like, oh, dude, that's awesome. And it was. Like, yeah, he's using the fucking, and the Grand Priest is like, no, I'm going to allow this because, like, that's cool.
Fuck Vegeta. That piece of shit. Even Frieza lent his energy. Fuck that piece of shit. And I get it. He used that energy to stop Brian or whatever. But fuck that asshole. Even Frieza. Piece of shit. Anyway, go.
I mean, you're not necessarily wrong. Again, some of these people don't know how to write these characters. Vegeta would have done it, and he wouldn't have had a problem. We're beyond that. And yeah, no, they didn't know. Anyway, point being, so he gets the Genki Dama, right? And he fucking chucks that motherfucker. But what happens? Fucking Jiren's
Jiren
like,
doesn't care.
you fucking what, mate? Is basically what Jiren does, and he blows it up. And by the way, that explosion is one of the coolest in Dragon Ball.
Yo, the black hole
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's about to be a bad. And then fucking we missed this in the Crunchyroll version, the actual full hour special that aired on Japan in Japan. The Grand Priest is like, I'm gonna throw up a barrier on this one. Jeez.
Really?
Yeah, he throws up a barrier because he's like, that's gonna be a bad. And-
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and the explosion is huge, and so Goku is fucking just obliterated by this. Everyone thinks he's dead, and as it turns out, nope. That shock was enough to bring out this form, which, by the way, has been hinted at before in Super.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Whis tells them you need to start moving on your own. You need your bodies to react before your mind does. You're too focused.
You're thinking too hard.
Yeah, and it's like, first of all, that's a very, like, if you want to talk about martial arts and wushu and where Dragon Ball comes from, yeah, no, this is absolutely in line with that. This is a higher state of being, basically being part of the like basically being part of the universe And I'm like,
It's kind of the pinnacle of a lot of martial arts training stuff, which is why I thought it was interesting that they were kind of pulling that trigger. And with how things end up, it makes a little bit more sense. But I'm just like, this is sort of the ceiling if we're going to keep talking in martial arts concepts. Like, this is the nirvana of that, of just being one with the universe and your body responding.
yep.
By the way, being one with the universe, that sounds like some Saint Seiya shit right there.
Oh, man, don't get me started on Saint Seiya. I haven't seen Knights of the Zodiac in years.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we see Ultra Instinct Goku, or we got to know Hosui, whatever. I can't remember what they call it in Japanese.
What?
Yeah, in Japanese, it's something. And yes, and then the best insert song in all of Dragon Ball kicks up, Ultimate Battle.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you guys are unfamiliar with Mr. Alejandro Saab over here, he's actually part of a hilariously named boy band who covers anime songs called We Believe, or
Weeb. Or Weeby.
And he actually, who did the cover? Who was in? Yeah, it was you.
Yeah.
I thought it was you. I didn't look at the credits. I was just like, this is Alejandro. Yeah, he sings a cover of it. It's got 800,000 views on YouTube because it's good.
As of now.
I checked before the stream, and it's at 930,000.
Hey, man, let's break it to 1 million.
Yeah, break it to 1 million. Let's go, everybody. Yeah.
That's awesome. And yeah, definitely check it out because I personally think it's one of the best insert songs.
I'm glad. Yeah, no, I love that song. I couldn't get it out of my head, which is why I was like, I should cover this.
Yeah. And guess what? Dragon Ball fans, by and large, loved it as well, which is interesting. So with Super, we see a huge amount of fans who originally would not, for the life of them, watch the Japanese version of Dragon Ball, be like, fine, I guess I've got to listen to an old woman play Goku. And the next thing they're like, no, this shit's great. I like watching this. I like watching this version. And I'm like, you just have to give it a chance.
It's so weird for me to go to the dub now. Like, I've been watching the Japanese probably since Super started, and now, like, when I go on Toonami and watch the English dub of Dragon Ball Super, I'm just like, this feels foreign to
right?
me. Like hearing like 18 and Goku and Vegeta. Like, I'm just like, this is odd.
The observation Kieran made when the Universe 6 dub stuff started happening, and now he's like, this is the first time Dragon Ball fans have ever had to deal with, no, this isn't how this character should sound when a dub comes out.
Yep.
And how no one was ready for it. I was like, that's the voice they're going with for Cop? That's what Hit's gonna
Magetta?
Goku Black? That's what
Chugga.
So we're about to go into basically the meatiest meat of all of this here. So we're gonna take a small break so our wonderful cameraman and operator over the tech desk can pee, and we're gonna call out bits. So give us just a minute.
I'm also gonna refill my water. Does anyone else need more water?
Yeah. So give us just a second. We'll be right back. And we're back. Oh, so Ultra Instinct. It looks cool. But if I had to be honest with you, I thought it actually looked pretty cool. What about you guys?
I like it conceptually quite a bit. The idea of this is just reaching a higher mental state that is about reaction versus thinking. I think that's really cool. As far as its design, I'm sort of here or there on. I don't actively dislike it, but it is just kind of like a neat new filter and white hair, and it's not bad, but I wouldn't say I was blown away by it visually.
I think I preferred the not mastered version of
everyone prefers the unmastered version.
The white highlights.
My thing with Mastered Ultra Instinct, when we got the scans for it, two things actually. Number one, it was released in Xenoverse 2 first before the episode even came out.
That was real weird.
That was really freaking dumb.
That seemed like really bad accidental timing on someone's part.
And then number two, the Toriyama design was just the Super Saiyan God drawing with the white hair. I'm like, wait, what the? No!
See, so I know why they released it in the game first.
What?
It was hype.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, of course.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah. No, I thought you were going to say, the concept art, why it was like that.
Oh, the concept art? Hype?
Hype? No. I mean the specific, Super Saiyan God.
Why it looked like that? Because Toriyama's probably getting kind of lazy with this stuff.
This does really quick.
Not my Toriyama. How dare you?
This is real quick already, jumping off track less than like a minute in, but I just real quick want to say, I think it was during the Kefla fight maybe, where Goku showed that he hadn't done this yet in the anime, he still can just go Super Saiyan God. Like he can just go into his red form. That is something he can just do, which I thought was weird. I'm not going to say I was immediately against it. It was just like, oh yeah, that's also a thing.
That is a bigger problem with Super and its transformations.
Yes.
Yeah.
All its transformations are poorly explained and ultimately pointless.
You see, that I would have been okay with that if they would have shown off like that he could have done it before Blue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we see Super Saiyan God once with Beerus,
which is such
and then
bullshit.
and then one more time in the middle of the tournament.
You know where you would see more of it?
The
in
manga!
the fucking manga.
Where Vegeta gets it. Vegeta gets Super Saiyan God in the manga, and it's so fucking good.
This is one of my biggest fucking gripes with the goddamn Tournament of Power.
Sorry to get us on this track, everybody. I
No,
just wanted
it's
to bring
fine.
it up.
It's one of my biggest goddamn gripes with it, and it's when in the anime, Beerus is like praising Goku. It's like, oh, look at him, a fucking genius, going Super Saiyan God, and at the last second, Super Saiyan Blue. What a genius. And then in the fucking manga, in the Zamasu arc, fucking Vegeta came up with that technique. And no, they're like, nah, Goku's gonna get in the Tournament of Power. Fuck that shit.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, manga did that better. Manga did a lot of that arc better. Did Zamos worse, only just by making it more boring. Like, it made that was worse. Everything
I thought
else
the ending
was
was cooler.
better. The ending was kind of the same.
Cooler was there?
Yeah.
Anyway,
he
point
was.
being, pointo being, yeah, it's Ultra Instinct, like, so, Ultra Instinct as an actual transformation.
Anyone can get it.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing. I don't think we'll see that happen.
Unfortunately.
Which is, man, now this is why I bring up the thing about how can it really be called mastered if even at the end of the fucking show, Goku's like, spoilers, I mean, whatever, I mean, you're here. Like, at the end, Goku's like, nope, I can't do it anymore. It's like, what?
Okay, okay, again, we'll talk about the ending.
Right.
Because the ending, so we see Ultra Instinct get used the first time against Jiren, the second time against Kefla, and then finally, he brings it out, and we all knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Brings it out again for the last time against Jiren, and then masters it. And the mastered version sucks. And
Third time's the charm.
Here's why. Here's why the mastered version sucks. First of all, it doesn't actually look very good. The aura is overpowering. It's huge. It's post-processed. It's grossly inorganic with the character. 2, the white hair. Nobody I know has liked the white hair. They expected the white hair, but they also expected it to stand up. Now it just looks like old Goku.
Which isn't a bad thing. It's just, I feel like the white could have had, like, hints of, like, the blue that Ultra Instinct had.
I think it could have had like more shape to it. Like
Yeah.
not so much like just, oh, it's his Super Saiyan form but white, but just like having it do something other than his base regular look.
Which is why I like the Ultra Instinct, because it wasn't just like, all right, there's Goku here. It like, some of it was like,
Yeah, some of it,
like-
yeah. I liked that. Like, he was, like, in this halfway state, and I was actually pretty cool with it.
Yeah.
But the worst part about it is that it takes away what was cool about Ultra Instinct.
Yeah.
The fact that he was dodging and moving. Like, you couldn't hit him. And if you could, it didn't do a lot. Like, he rolled, and it was so cool to watch him, like, barely think about it as he dodges out of the way of these blasts.
That sequence is real quick. Maybe like there's another sequence in the very last fight that I think is my actual favorite part of the all of Super, but a close second is just Topo doing his like justice fingers, and then just like
Oh, yeah.
Ultra
And he's
Instinct
just
Goku
walking.
slowly walking and just like noticing that they're all missing. I was like, that is maybe one of the coolest shots Dragon Ball has ever
One
had.
of my favorites is when he uses the Kamehameha to like dodge fucking.
Oh, to, like,
Kefla's
roll
blast,
over the
just
blast.
Like, yeah.
Do you know what shot I loved? When Goku is slumped over And Jiren's firing down at him with all these
Yes.
blasts, trying to destroy.
And all of the punches.
And you suddenly see Goku's arms shuddering, and it's like, what is he doing? Like, is he
Realizing that he is punching back.
Yeah, he's punching. You can't see it. Nobody could see it. That's why his arms are vibrating. And I'm like, that's fucking cool.
And that's how you save animation, kids.
But the cool part about it is that, yeah, it's a cheap, effective tool.
Oh,
Trick.
no, but like it was so wicked.
No, but yeah, it's very effective in the.
Yeah, it really gave you the sense of like,
presentation.
oh, holy shit, he's really fast, really strong, and he's pulling it, like, he's fighting back in this really cool manner. And yep, as we see, he achieves the silver, like, fucking Master Ultra Instinct, and it's nothing but just, it just returns Goku to being fast and strong. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, they don't show you how the offense side even works. It's just, oh, yep, he can now hit Jiren. Cool.
I mean, at least it's. And this is really, really setting a very incredibly low bar. I feel like it's a little bit better than that Vegeta Royal Blue, whatever we want to fucking call it.
Oh,
What the
man.
fuck?
I've been avoiding this nonsense because, all right. So a lot of talk was going around about the fact that Goku could only
Dude, like the
do
defensive part.
And they've already talked about the different fighting styles and different approaches to combat that Vegeta and Goku have. So one would be led to believe that, wow, maybe Vegeta will learn the offensive version of Ultra Instinct. Maybe his thing is that, he's bad at dodging, so he tanks a lot of attacks, but when he hits you, he fucking
He's finding all the
murders
weak
you.
points.
Nope.
And
no.
gee, we always talk about how if the
My
two of them could just work
pride!
together, amazing
Yes,
things would happen.
they even talk about that. The fact that if they work together, they could do amazing things.
Whis I think, got on record saying if you worked together properly, you would be unbeatable. Like,
Yeah, you would beat Beerus, is what he says.
Yo, where's that Vegito versus Beerus battle?
What I wanted, and I'm not gonna lie, so this may sound really fanficky, and I don't give a fuck. I wanted Gogeta because they've already
They've already shown Vegito.
They've shown Vegito twice in the show. They've shown Gotenks 1,000,000 times. Give us Gogeta.
I honestly thought the way the show was going to end was like
Bless you, man.
the tournament was ending on episode 130, and like 131 everything is like wrapping up, and then like the final battle, like it's like kind of like a tease, is like Goku and Vegeta face off against Beerus.
And that would just be the ending shot, those two charging him.
That'd be kind of cool. I'd be all about that.
Yeah.
But so yeah, ultimately, what does Vegeta get?
I don't what
Fans
is the
have
name?
been saying
What the fuck?
Super Royal Blue.
No. It's
something.
got an actual name.
Oh, does it?
I've heard
Okay.
Ascended Blue.
Nope. It's Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Evolved.
Bullshit.
Not even a little.
It's fucking stupid.
Anyway, it's real dumb, and I was the only thing that I enjoyed out of it were the stills that gave Vegeta Moe eyes.
I mean, the only thing I can actually say about it is it's actually fucking blue rather than the cyan fucking colors they give them and
That's
call it
just splitting
blue.
I mean, I agree. They actually changed the blue that they had over time
Yeah.
for no good reason. It looks bad. I
Yeah,
like the
I
original.
fucking hate it.
Yeah, they changed it.
Super Saiyan Blue is my least favorite transformation.
Super Saiyan Blue is the worst transformation in the entire series, bar none.
Yeah.
Except for Evolve. Evolve is worse.
because it's just taking the worst
yeah.
one and making it even worse.
And
Honestly,
making
that should have been Vegeta Super Saiyan God.
I agree. His Super Saiyan God should have just been blue. Let
Yeah.
people have different aura colors. Because here's the thing. The idea is, it's Super Saiyan God, but with, you go, it's the God power, then you go Super Saiyan. Well, then why call it Super Saiyan God? Why not call it Saiyan God and then have it be Super Saiyan God when he does it? Also, why? It's just a way to sell more figures. And it looks really not good. Honestly, the blue color is just not very, the blue's okay with the orange on Goku, but honestly, it never really looked all that good. It was just it was a replacement for Super Saiyan. That's all.
That blue would have worked on the gray outfit.
The gray outfit?
On Vegeta's gray Resurrection F outfit.
I mean, we see it, and it worked well enough. And that just being his God form, boom, done. That's his God form. That's what he has. And that's cool. Also, would have been nice to know how he got God, but no, we never get that. We never figure out how he got God. He just got it in his own way. And I'm like, you got to stop doing this.
He tried really hard.
You cannot have these characters.
Look, he just likes to bitch to the heavens and wish for it.
Yeah, by the way, make sure, think people might be having a little bit of trouble hearing you. But yeah, it sucks. Like, this new form sucks because how did he get it? No, but how did he get it though?
He really wanted it.
What does it mean?
He really wanted
Transformations
it.
only
It's called pride.
Transformations only work when they have a purpose and a trigger. That there's something that makes it interesting.
That's my Bulma. Come on, man. That's a trigger.
So
Jiren
with-
didn't threaten Bulma, though. I mean, I guess in an indirect way he does, but
But with Super Saiyan, that's a 1,000-year-old legend suddenly coming back like boom. Goku is now the Super Saiyan.
Nah, fuck your legends.
Super Saiyan 2, it's the next form that is built up over the course of an entire saga. Super Saiyan 3, okay, that was discovered off screen.
yeah, kind of.
And is a huge visual overhaul, but it's kind of dumb.
I fucking hate it.
But
Not crazy about it.
at the very least, it's got a downside. There's something about it that's different. It drains stamina. Cool. At least there's something to it. At least there's a reason it exists. It's more powerful, but you run out of energy quicker. Cool. At least there's something that makes it unique.
This isn't my hero. Get your fucking quirks out of here.
Super Saiyan God was kind of
Takes a community to make. Though.
Yeah, and also is like this.
Hold my hand. We gotta make a god.
All right, fine. God damn
And then
it.
there's a big red filter over all of us.
I thought it was blue.
No, you're thinking Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
No,
which
in
is
the ritual we get blue.
No,
So,
the ritual
yeah.
got red.
So when we get this transformation, fuck that. Fuck that transformation.
It was there to give a new level to fight Frieza without
Blue?
earning it. And then on top of that, Vegeta needed something because
But you know what the manga does better? It actually makes Blue they tell you about the form, its drawbacks, mastering it. You actually see Goku have to master Blue. You have to see Vegeta struggle with using Blue because it drains your stamina very quickly, and like it's.
But that's not a fun surprise for a movie,
That's
Kaiser.
fucking stupid.
I'm not gonna go that far, but
No, and Saab's over here like you said we were going to talk about the manga, and here you are, Kaiser, you're talking about the manga, and you know what?
That's stupid. Nah.
Yeah.
but
The
anyway,
manga's way better.
So Vegeta gets a meaningless transformation.
A meaningless, terrible-looking transformation. I don't think I can stress how bad this looks.
How? Why? Just why? Why didn't they just let him have Ultra Instinct?
He's covered in aura, top to bottom, with sparkles and irises now. And it's like, this is awful. I can't believe you guys made this. I will never buy this toy because it looks bad. It makes no sense.
I'd
cannot
rather
sell this
buy
figure to me.
Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. I'd rather buy figures of Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku.
Yeah,
Which at least those figures look bitchin'.
yeah. And I don't know. It's just it's not a good form. It makes no sense.
It's the consistent problem that I feel like Toei has had with Vegeta, where they don't want to give him anything without being like, but Goku's got the better one. Like,
Fuck Toei, man.
it's just like it feels like a constant like, and you know, Gohan suffers the same problem. Just about every character who is not called Son Goku suffers the same problem, where it's like, we're going to give them something really cool, but we got to save the actually cool part for Goku. And then they go, well, then let's dial back on the cool for them then. And then they usually dial it down to, well, now no one thinks this is kind of any cool at all. But I guess that means Goku gets the cool part, right?
Fuck him. Fucking kill him.
And like, I feel bad because I feel like I pound the drum of like, boo Goku, like to an annoying and obnoxious degree on our gaming stuff. And I play that up for comedy.
I feel like
but,
we're justified at this
But
point.
it really does feel like Toei is afraid to let any character shine other than Goku for more than an episode.
Yeah, I agree. And that's always been the problem with Goku.
And it's not so much that it's like, I hate Goku. It's more, I hate what happens to everyone else because Goku is here.
Yeah. Because why even have anybody else?
Yeah. Super became the Goku and Friends show. And I get that that's what kind of Dragon Ball has been all along. But I feel like it has just been so much more obnoxious and upfront about it this go around that it's really hard to look past.
On the plus side,
Please.
he didn't fucking win.
That, yes.
Yeah, I mean that's well, yeah. Goku doesn't win here, and that is a good thing. That is a plus. That, and we'll talk about that because we're about to get close to the
we're
ending.
pretty much
Yeah.
there.
But not only does Vegeta, by the way, get a terrible transformation. Let's talk about Topo, the best antagonist in the entire arc.
Fuck Jiren. Topo was great.
Yeah, so Jiren has a problem of being a character that was poorly written from the very beginning because they weren't sure what they wanted to do with him other than making him a force of will that Goku had to overcome. Topo, from the very beginning, had a very strong personality and a purpose. Justice. Yeah. Justice. Justice.
Sorry, I
is
have
Dabs
to do it
on him
every
with justice.
time.
the best part about Topo, by and large, is that he has a purpose, he's got a personality, and he sacrifices that for his increase in strength to save his universe. It's a great scene, and it's done very effectively. And we see him go from Wilford Brimley to fucking
To Nightmare Brimley.
to yes.
Man.
And it's cool. It's very interesting.
I liked basically his line of like, if Justice can't win this fight, then Justice is pointless, and then
Yup.
just goes into
Yup.
destroyer mode, and it's just like, wow, okay, all right.
I did like that Vegeta was telling him like if you could so easily give up on your ideals, then you shouldn't have them or something along those lines. I was like, very good point. This was the best fight. Like interaction wise, if only it was animated as well as the other one.
Yeah, so here's the interesting thing. Who gets to take out Topo?
I can't remember. It's 17, right? He does it?
No.
No? Okay.
Who takes out Topo?
I thought he popped himself.
Vegeta.
Vegeta.
Vegeta
Oh, yeah.
takes out Topo. And you forgot how. And that's
Yep.
hilarious. Because do you remember how now?
Doesn't he just?
He self-destructs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he
I
did
forgot.
the Boo thing.
He-
I totally
And
forgot
he
about that.
did it because he knew how to. Yeah.
Because that's right. Because he survives it. Because I totally forgot that because he lives through it and throws his energy to Goku in the 11th hour.
So I want to talk a little bit about Toriyama here.
Okay.
Toriyama has a very good habit of not repeating certain things, like big actions like that. People are like,
Because they become forgettable.
well, a little bit, but it's like, hey, so Goku, when he grabs Raditz's tail, he doesn't try to do it again because that would be boring.
He gets him in a lock.
Goku
instead.
rarely uses the Genki Dama. He uses it once against Vegeta, once against Frieza, and once against Boo, but each of these scenarios are these last-ditch moments, and it never usually works.
Also, they're all very different. Like,
Yeah.
his Spirit Bomb against Vegeta is very different from the Spirit Bomb that happens to Frieza. The Frieza one's closer to the one that happens to Boo, but still very different.
Yeah, the circumstances are very different, and there are these last-ditch moments. But he also stops using the Kaioken so much once he has Super Saiyan. Toriyama tries to change things up the best that he can, so he's not repeating himself.
Yeah.
They just took Vegeta's sacrifice against Boo, directly referenced it, and then replayed it without the drawback from it of him dying, without the drama of it being a huge character-changing, defining moment. And while it does actually knock him out this time, which makes it different, it's also the lamest possible way for him to have taken out Topo, because that's just saying, remember when he did it against Boo? Here's him doing it against Topo.
It was so bad, I genuinely forgot about it until you mentioned it.
I would defend it because I remember watching it. I was like, man, wow, that's so cool. But I can't defend it because I forgot about it. The fact that I forgot about that versus the first time he did it just goes to show that it's like, wow, I guess it wasn't as cool as I remembered.
Yeah. when Vegeta did that, that was an amazing, heartbreaking moment, and it doesn't even kill Boo, which is which adds a
which is
bit
kind of the added tragedy to it.
Yeah, it adds tragedy to that moment. While I personally think it would have been better if it at least had some effect, yeah, no, it just Boo gets right back up. Here, there's no sacrifice. There's no drama here. It's just him somehow pulling out all this power at the last second to do it, and then he still gets back up and still tries to fight.
Hey,
Jiren.
don't worry. If he would have died, he would have just come back with fucking Frieza in 17.
We'll get to that. So actually, let's get to 17. 17's
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah, which
So-
infuriated me. I'll throw my 17 sacrificing himself. 10 out of 10. I was like, that's a really good character moment. I'm into that. Awesome. Then a couple episodes later, 17 pops up out of a rock, and I'm just like, this undercuts everything and makes that makes that moment feel cheap to me.
I hate that I love it.
See, here's the thing. I didn't care about 17's sacrifice. Like, when that happened, I was like, wow, okay, wow, they killed a character. That's a biggie. Like, I'm surprised that a character died, but also that kind of sucks. Like, 17 goes out like that, man. All right, whatever. I guess he went out saving somebody.
It took me a couple minutes to realize that. I'm like, oh, I guess he got eliminated. And my friend's like, you idiot, he just died. And I was like, wait, he died?
Yeah.
What?
Like there's the we've heard legend since the Android saga about the androids having a big self-destruct mechanism, and it's just we finally presumably got to witness it.
Which he couldn't have done anyway. His bomb was
had
taken
been
out.
removed.
So a lot of people were like talking about that. I'm like, dude, we fucking Vegeta literally self-destructs and survives. So 17 could have done that too and died.
Yeah.
Like that's fine, whatever. We know that people can self-destruct if they need to.
Yeah, but
it's just different from the bomb that does it for them. They have
Yes.
he uses all of his power to do it. Except he doesn't.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Because when I found out that was part of his plan, he's like, I hid myself so I wouldn't, be taken.
That made it feel better when he brings up that logic to it, but it was still then you should have just stayed down.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. He had to come back at that moment. He had no choice but okay, yeah, Frieza's not going to be able to take him on his own. That's impossible. If, they save Goku and they're like, okay, we've got to fight off Jiren together. And I actually love the moment of them trying to hold out.
Yeah.
17's, raise your power level. He's
Don't
screaming
tell me what to do.
I said raise your fucking power level. Don't tell me what to do. And it's this great moment of them screaming at each other.
And it's an interaction that outside of fan fiction we never would have thought we'd see.
Isn't it crazy how two arc villains just got together to save their fucking enemy?
Yeah. And that's kind of the whole. That's
It's kind of the closest we'll ever probably get to, if we're discounting GT, a canon interaction between Frieza and sort of Cell in the fact of 17 is kind of just a snarky, whatever, I'm just kind of here.
Well, that's what we have fighters for.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I liked 17 coming back.
Yeah.
I liked how he hid. I thought his death was weird and unnecessary.
Yeah.
So the fact that nope, he's back and he's contributing, I was like, okay, cool. You know what? That's cool. I'm okay with that. Another thing that we see is
Frieza coming out of the rocks.
Frieza can't go down. He gets knocked down, but he gets up
He
again.
is the biggest cockroach, which is perfect because it's Frieza.
Yeah,
That is absolutely the Frieza style of, you thought you got me.
I mean,
Yep.
that just explains his role in Dragon Ball Super as a whole. It's like, you thought I was dead in Resurrection F? Nah, bitch, I got brought back. I died. Got brought back again for this shitty tournament.
You thought I died on Namek? I'm back as a robot. Oh, I'm dead. You thought I was dead after that? I'm back for Resurrection. I'm dead. Oh, you thought I was dead? I'm back for this tournament. Oh, I'm actually alive.
I
live! I live!
And it's great, honestly, because I wasn't sure, I was going to like Frieza in this arc, but every time it got used, I'm like, you're a rotten bastard.
Man, but it took a while to get there. It took a while. There was a lot of
There were
episodes
many,
where-
many detours, as this conversation has
Yes.
mirrored.
Yes, we finally. So when we got to Mastered Ultra Instinct, by the way, so let's talk about the last core of this, because Vegeta gets knocked out in the bitchest way.
Yeah.
I hated his defeat via Jiren. It was boring and poorly animated and just made no sense. They dragged it out for no good reason, and his emotional climax is just pointless. Like he might as well have just went down with Topo.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been better. That would have worked better, because then there wouldn't have been this dragged out nonsense afterwards.
But he had to send his energy to Goku.
Which is bullshit, by the way. How is it that this man who is defeated has, you have no energy behind your fucking punches, gives this energy to Goku, and suddenly it's like, I have fucking Ultra Instinct now, bitch. Like, what the fuck?
Because that's
Yeah.
DBZ.
Yeah, no,
what it
that's...
does.
Fuck Dragon Ball.
That's bad even for Dragon Ball, though. You know it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And so, we get this really terrible defeat for Vegeta that tries so hard to be emotionally resonant, but is just presented so poorly, so haphazardly, and with no actual narrative focus. Boom, he's gone. Oh, great, cool, bye, Vegeta. You were the best character in all of Super, and you just got bitched out by having your actual big moment be a rehash of your previous, your new form be the ugliest and maybe conceptually worst form in the entire show, and your actual knockout is boring and lame.
The thing that makes me the most sad is I can absolutely see people who come into Super, like, new, like, just like this being their first real introduction to Dragon Ball, and being like, why did people like Vegeta so much? He seems to not get anything.
Yeah.
Like, I can feel that being a takeaway they get of just, Vegeta's just constantly not Goku in all of these situations.
Yeah.
That kills me.
But he's also the character with the best development.
He does have the most
You wouldn't
most
know
fun.
that. You wouldn't know that going into Super, though. If you're just going into Super.
Oh, yeah, no, if you're just starting with Super.
If Super is your Dragon Ball starting point, I
wouldn't know that.
There's plenty of argument for Vegeta being pretty low on your character tier list.
You'd have no fucking idea.
But so we see what we get in this final battle, though. So let's talk about episode 130, a.k.a. the Mastered Ultra Instinct episode.
The one thing I really do want to like hand it, and actually I think this is the end of 129 is what I'm thinking about. As much as I complain about how drawn out and just poorly paced this whole arc was, there was a big bunch of catharsis the first moment we see Jiren really getting like pushed back by Goku.
Oh, yeah.
That just feels good to finally see
That face?
after literally a year of just Jiren being this
Bullshit.
like untouchable, like nothing can even come close. And
Fuck
then
him.
finally this sequence of like Goku zipping past him, and then you see him just get the shit knocked out of him for a second, like fall down. It's like that felt really, really good. And like I know it took a lot of missteps to get there, but the amount of time it took to get there made that moment feel really satisfying. And so all of my complaints aside, I do want to at least throw that little bit of praise that it felt really good.
So yeah, let's talk about that. When he gets the Master Ultra Instinct, he's enveloped in white. And by the way, that looked cool as heck.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. Like that whole being enveloped in white and like the punches coming before he could like respond to them. Like all the stuff after Goku turns in like goes Ultra Instinct. There's this speech that Whis gives that's amazing. He talks about how everything falls out of focus and it all turns to fire for Goku as he's fighting in this beautifully animated segment. And I'm like, okay, no, this is cool as fuck. I don't care. I don't care that the fact that like half this episode is reused animation. I don't care about the fact that Vegeta just got one of the worst bullshit defeats like he's gotten so far. I don't care that it took us 30 episodes to get here. This scene is cool as hell. And yeah, like, Jiren getting pushed back by Master Ultra Instinct was great. But one of the bigger issues is that, so we get into episode 130, right? And basically everybody just salivates over this episode because...
Yep.
It's very pretty.
Naoki Tate, fucking... No Yu Takahashi was saved for the next episode. Shida, Naotoshi Shida, and a bunch of other like top tier animators were on this episode, giving it their 100% because they had months to prepare for this episode. They were preparing for this episode months in advance, and it's great. It's great that they had all this time to prepare.
We don't deserve it.
Well, you say that because I'm about to take a shit on it.
All right.
I actually don't like 130.
Really?
Really, really. And I know that's really controversial, and it's not because it's poorly animated. Like, here, the thing about it is that they went balls to the wall for this to be this big action episode where it's, Jiren versus Goku, and, Jiren being pushed to his limit and lashing out, and all these amazing looking fights. But I didn't like the fighting all that much.
I loved it.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad you did. For me, it just felt like a rehash of a lot of what we'd already seen in this tournament. A lot of flurries of punches and kicks, like big explosions, really well animated punches and kicks and explosions. But at this point, the arena's been destroyed. They're basically just jumping around all of these rocks and punching, kicking, firing blasts. And while they all look really good, they don't have a lot of impact for me because what's the point? It's just fighting at this point. There's no narrative follow-through that really makes it all that interesting, and there isn't the really cool movements and suggestions and implications of the Ultra Instinct form anymore, now that Goku is no longer dodging and doing all these cool acrobatic moves. Now he's just fast and strong.
Did you know there was a specific shot where Jiren is firing at him, and the way Goku dodges it is by planting small Kamehamehas that he's walking on?
You know what would have been cool? If I could have seen that without having to freeze frame it. No, I'm serious. That might sound like a joke, but that was one of my biggest problems here is that we get all this really cool animation, right? All this great Sakuga, this big battle. I could barely tell you what's happening in half of the shots.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this episode has really good animation, but actually really bad choreography. And that's really unfortunate because
It's too smooth.
Well, it's
too fast.
It's not even. It's kind of a mix of too fast and the framing being in weird places where you can't see, like, which I can understand, like the thought process of being like, no, make some of the impact and like some of the shots like having the action happening slightly out of frame to add like to your imagination of how it's going to be like of what's happening there, but that. This is kind of like sort of supposed to be the money shot of the fight. This is supposed to be where you're seeing the action.
We should be able to see everything here. We should be able to follow all of this fight. We should be getting impacts of speed and power, but it's all just animation. It's all just a bunch of movement and explosions and, again, bad choreography.
Yeah.
Like, frankly. Like,
and that's the most disappointing part of it is because, like, it looks pretty. Like, it's very beautiful looking, but as far as telling a narrative through, like, watching a fight and, like, seeing the fight play through is, like, difficult to follow and not in a, they're moving so fast and so amazingly that it's tough for a human eye to see. That's not the feeling you get. It just feels like a weirdly shot sequence.
Did you notice that a lot of the effects were this post-processed CGI stuff? And a lot of like texture layers over all the fire, the aura. Jiren's aura is supposed to look like fire, and it looks like something I did in After Effects over a layer. Same with Ultra Instinct. Ultra Instinct is actually the worst offender. It's covered in all the CGI bullshit. And every time, like, there's this great shot where Goku's running across the arena, dodging these blasts from Jiren. Mm-hmm. There's these really cool flips and turns and twists, and I can't see them because he's covered in the aura. All I see is just an aura bouncing around everywhere.
There's a lot of after just stuff on top of things that we should be seeing better.
But you know where we don't get any of that, even a little bit? Where the worst we get is some of Jiren's aura, and by and large, it's played down to a much less degree.
Well, I know where you're going with this, and real quick, just to head you off, I do, since you and I just spent our time poo-pooing it, Alejandro, you have positive things to say about 130.
That's fair, because we kind of just sat over here shitting on it, and you said you liked it.
Yeah.
I
real quick want to get your take.
Yeah.
I do want to have fair and
one voice of reason.
Yeah, go on, because I feel like a lot of people really like this episode, and I don't want to not speak to them at all.
The thing is, with 130, at least from my perspective, it's like we've had all these episodes, and there have been certain episodes here and there that were like, wow, that was pretty, like certain shots. Like when Vegeta tries to take on Jiren, and Jiren just shits on him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, but that was Yu Takahashi, one of the best animators on the entire series. That
Yeah.
scene is so good looking. God damn it! By the way, Yu Takahashi is one of the animation directors, one of the key animators, one of the key animators for Dragon Ball Super, and you probably know his stuff.
That good shit you see? Yeah,
Like,
that's probably what you've
Was
been
he
seeing.
responsible for the really good looking episode where I think it was Kale and Cauliflower
Yeah, it
fighting
was.
Goku?
That was it.
I still think that might be the best looking episode of Super.
Yeah, he's responsible for the last episode too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Makes
no,
sense.
the last episode had some really good shots. But the thing with me, there were shots in 130 that I'm just like, wow, I've never seen Goku make that face. That looks fucking sick as shit. Like when he's punching Jiren and it's that close up of his face and he looks angry, just furious after Jiren just fucking tried to kill his friends. I was like, that shit you don't see.
So
I'm all about it.
So the problem I have with that is that paying very close attention to the art and animation in Super, that scene is part of Naotoshi Shida's cut. Naotoshi Shida is a longtime Toei, basically veteran animator. He's actually worked on Dragon Ball Z. He's been around for a long time. He does a lot of work on Pretty Cure, and he's amazing. He's spectacular. He's also gotten really boring. Because the one thing I noticed was that 90% of that cut that he did was shots he's already used in Super. You know that shot where he punches Jiren? That's almost essentially the same shot that we get against Frieza. The shot where he yells out and powers up, that's basically the same shot that we got from him from Battle of Gods.
Do you mean beers?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
said Frieza.
No, I mean, the one he does against Jiren is the same one he uses against Beerus from Battle of Gods, that where he shakes his head and yells
Right,
out.
no, you said Frieza.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
why.
yeah, sorry.
no, that's
Well,
what I
no.
was like, what?
The
The
punch
punch.
against Frieza, the punch that he used against Jiren is the same one he does against Frieza
Okay.
earlier in Shida's cut in their fight in the recruitment.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of those shots are just stuff that he's done.
I
So
guess it
I'm-
was such a distance apart in
Yeah, that you
episodes
got-
that
no,
I
that's-
didn't even realize.
And that's absolutely fair because I don't think I picked up on that either.
But beyond that, it was also like it was really cool. So if you don't notice those things,
Yeah.
it's probably gonna be better for you.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna be
I
like,
didn't
that
notice
was
any of
bitching, that
those.
was awesome. And you know what? That's good. I'm not, and that's why I'm shitting on this over here from my perspective, because I'm like, yeah, this was a lot of lazy stuff and a lot of cut corners and a lot of post processing that ruins really good shots. But for most people who don't notice or care or pay attention to that stuff, which they're not supposed to.
That's why they reuse it.
That's not me saying they're the layman. No, they're the average person who doesn't care about that stuff because they're not supposed to. Yeah, no, it probably looked really good. For me, I notice a lot of these problems and that it crops up, and I'd like to point them out because I want people to want better.
Yeah. Never settle.
Yeah.
Also, I think another thing was that it was like a constant rise. Like, because normally when it comes to Dragon Ball, like, especially with some of these episodes that we've had recently, it's always been like, it's like, okay, you get this little burst of like amazing, gorgeous animation. And then it's like, all right, now they're going to talk and we're going to reuse the same shot. back
ugly
of
shot
that.
for a
Yeah,
second.
Yeah, for like the rest of the episode. With this episode, there was very little of that, and it was more of the action, which is what a lot of like the average Dragon Ball fan wants. It's like, okay, we get it. They can talk. That's fine. But I want to see these two just beat the shit out of each other. I've waited an entire fucking arc to see Goku beat the shit out of Jiren, and Jiren stop being a little fucking bitch saying, you're not worthy of my fucking time, and just fucking fight it out at full power.
Yeah.
Do it.
And it was cool in a lot of places. Like, let me be honest, as much as I had problems, when it was on, it was like fucking great. And watching him beat the shit out of Jiren is exactly what I needed after all those episodes.
I also really want to, I throw Jiren under the bus for being a bad character and stuff.
Fucking piece of shit.
I did really like the I guess the development of when he is pushed to the wall and Goku's we do this as a group. Like I fight for my friends and stuff and stuff like that. And Jiren being like, fuck friendship and like throw a big
Yeah.
beam. Like it's like I think that was a good character moment for him to be like, oh, Jiren isn't maybe a good guy. He just has these ideals that he sticks to. But as a person, he's actually maybe kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And-
Well, that was a point of conflict for a lot of people. They were like, why did he try to blow up the stage? I'm like, because he's fucking
Not my
broken.
Jiren. Not
Yeah.
my Jiren.
Huh?
Not my Jiren.
Hashtag
Jiren in the
not your
manga's way
Jiren.
better.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
See, well, he's not that different in the manga. Let's be honest.
Look. The
Anyway.
fact that fuck it. Read the manga.
Read
Go.
the manga. Read the manga, guys. when he tries to blow up the stage, or not the stage, the bleachers.
audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he tries to blow up the audience, that was amazing. Because in that moment,
For a second, I was like, oh, Jiren is a character.
yeah, if he'd actually succeeded somehow in blowing it up, and the fucking ref was like, what? There's no rule
He
against.
never said he couldn't.
Yeah, there's no rule against him
Wow, I didn't
attacking
even think
people
about that
outside.
shit.
Like, I would have been like, that's kind of fucking cool. On the other hand, like, Goku saves them like
Yeah.
he should, and that's good.
And it is kind of like, sort of lame being like, friendship is worthless. Blah, like that is like kind of bottom of the barrel anime villain talk.
But if you're gonna do it, have him go all out.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Like I think it works because this whole arc has been, is Goku maybe a bad guy and like doing the wrong thing? And then like the Justice Trooper guys are all like, we are pinnacle good guys, like we are the lawful good. And then Jiren shows the negative extreme of that, of like, there's no law against killing these people to distract you, the villain. And it's like, well, that's real fucked up because now we're going off of letter of law versus spirit of law, man. You're drinking too much of the Kool-Aid.
One of
And
my
I think that's a good twist on it.
One of my favorite lines is probably right after that, said by Goku. And he's like, I've never said I was a hero. Or it's like, I'm not a hero. Anything like that. It's like, but this is bullshit. No one fucking, like, tries to go for my friends. I was like, hell yeah. Good. He's accepted
good
that
for
he's
you,
a piece
Goku.
of shit. Yes!
Well, here's the thing: not being a hero, and like I'm glad about that. I'm glad that Goku is like, I am not a guy who searches out to do justice. When I see something wrong, I will fix it. But he is not a superhero.
No.
He shouldn't be. He shouldn't seek out injustice and try to fix it. That's
He never
Superman
gave King
stuff.
Furry his phone number and was like, hey, hit me up when bad things happen.
Yeah, no. He only gets involved when it's necessary for him to get involved, and that's fine. But here, and here's one of the dropped lines with Jiren. We should have gotten more about other universes and how they work. But if they wanted to make Jiren the antagonist, we needed to see his relationship with other characters.
Man.
It wouldn't have been great if, as they were fighting the other Pride Troopers, we'd have seen the way that they joined Jiren.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jiren fought them, beat them, and they're like, no, this guy's strong. We should follow
I
him.
will be your disciple.
And then in the end, for Jiren to be like, you are not my friends.
I don't care about any of you.
You followed me. I'm here to get stronger. Have an actual pathos to the character.
Man, I hadn't even thought about like letting the Pride Troopers tell Jiren's story.
Yes.
Like over time.
Yeah.
God, that would have been so much better.
That would have been way better. Then we would have gotten to see parts of Jiren.
Then I might have cared about the other Pride Troopers.
Yeah. We would have
Not
had
to
it.
mention
What a
Jiren.
shame.
Yeah. But no, we needed a little bug guy to ring out Piccolo.
It's important.
Fuck you.
But anyway,
Yeah.
so they fight.
So they fight. They
Real
have this,
pretty animation.
Yeah,
Maybe
real.
less so other parts of it.
But here's the thing. So Goku ends up his Ultra Instinct runs out, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay with the idea of like you can master it, but guess what? Once it's done, it's fucking like you're doomed.
You're spent.
I thought that was because he was a human.
Mortal.
Saiyan? Mortal, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
A ningen.
Ningen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe. I don't know if Whis explicitly says that.
Yeah, no, he said it was something about like the god powers, I think.
Maybe. I mean, Goku's
I
already.
might be on some bullshit.
You might be on some bullshit, but you might also be onto some bullshit. But I don't know. I can't remember. But basically, point being, he goes down,
His body can't handle it.
and fucking 17 and Frieza have to save him. Which, by the way, I like the fact that Jiren at this point is like, fuck, I don't want to win like this, but I'm not going to let my universe get erased. So
Yeah. He's like apologetic and like, hey man, look, sucks that it's got to go this way, but it can only be one of us.
yeah.
It's gonna be me.
And then Frieza saves him. And by the way, I love that negative shot that they use for when Goku loses the power. But I swear to God, something happened to him. Like fucking Frieza.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
no.
was-
I immediately said, I'm like, wow, Frieza, what a piece of shit.
And you know what would have been better? So it is implied, if not explicitly stated, that whoever wins the tournament proper gets the wish. I would have just been him like, oh, don't worry. Like he shoots.
I don't need you anymore. I can beat Jiren alone.
Yes,
from
and he's
here
like,
on out."
that wish is mine, shithead. And I would have been like, oh, that's great. That is what a proper way to end this with fucking Frieza, you know. But instead, what we get is maybe not better, but still really fucking
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Because in episode 131, we see 17 and Frieza try to stand up to Jiren and losing, and finally Goku gets on his feet, and the absolute best fight in all of Dragon Ball Super then happens, and I will fight anybody who thinks that there's a better fight than this one, because it's one of my favorite fights in Dragon Ball, dude.
Yeah,
My favorite was when just Vegeta's face after seeing them
Work together.
It's like, mother.
Wow, look, you know, Goku and Frieza are fighting alongside each other, and Vegeta's like, that look on his face of like, my whole
That
life
was
is
our
ruined.
thing.
Yeah, the which I mentioned earlier, my favorite shot in all of Super and possibly all of Dragon Ball is during this fight, Goku and Frieza are running, like feet on the ground, running, and you see 17 behind them shoot beams, and you see them like chase past them into Jiren. I think that is the best shot in at least all of Super, and maybe one of the best shots in Dragon Ball, just
Yes.
period.
I let out a noise when that part happened because you have Ultimate Battle playing
Yeah.
in the background. You have because the whole scene plays out so great.
Also, this fight is only two minutes and change. I want to throw out there best fight in possibly the whole series. 2 minutes long.
Actually, according to the Tournament of Power, it was less than 30 seconds.
It was literally 5 seconds. It's amazing. So, but the cool part about it is,
Fucking
you know,
bullshit.
it starts off with the three of them fighting. Jiren punches Goku in the stomach, but he grabs his arms so Frieza can come in and knee him in the face.
Yeah.
The moment Jiren recovers, Frieza and Goku dodge out of the way. 17 blasts him.
Yeah, this is the marriage of choreography and animation that I was dying for
And-
this whole thing.
And what other scene in the entirety of Dragon Ball is it a 3-on-1?
Yeah.
An actual 3-on-1.
This was what I was hoping for when they announced that it would be a battle royale, because I was like, these are the kind of moments we're gonna get. Is all of these characters that we don't normally see cooperating, working together for like a really cool sequence.
My
And
favorite-
They saved it for the very end, but holy shit.
My favorite thing is that Jiren just ripped off Frieza's tail without anyone realizing.
Oh, yeah,
It was
yeah.
in the quickest of shots.
But I just love he starts using him as a punching bag.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
dude,
man.
that shot where Goku and Frieza kick Jiren, but Jiren's having none of it, blast through them, and you just see them recover in the debris. That shot
That-
is so cool.
That sequence is also nuts because when they're running up to him and then they bounce off rocks to get the double
Yeah.
hit. That moment is synced up with the music. If you pay attention, the sound they make when they're bouncing off is in time with the beat of the song, and it works so perfect.
A lot of that segment is tied, synced up to the song.
Yeah.
Like, they jump off the rocks, they kick him, he brushes through, they recover midair. Like, he attacks 17, and Frieza just yells out, "Fucking throw me at him!" And I'm like, holy fucking shit, is he gonna? And then he fucking volleyball serves him, and I'm like, I'm done. I don't know. And Frieza flies at him and fucking tilts midair
Yeah.
because he can't fly.
Yeah.
So, and then he rushes Jiren, setting him down, and then, but Jiren at the last moment
Yeah.
knocks them into the actual,
Yeah, because they're all like, oh my gosh, Frieza's going to take him out of the ring. It's going to happen. And then Jiren, with just sheer force of will, drags him into another piece of the arena. So it's
and
like,
then,
all right.
and then starts smashing him into the ground, and then Goku
Presumably rips off his tail in this moment.
in that moment
Yep.
where Goku jumps at him. And
Or the end of it, rather.
yeah, and he's going in and out of Super Saiyan. He could barely hold it together. I know this is just me fanboying for this moment, but I want people to know this is what we could have gotten in Dragon Ball
Yeah.
Super. Throughout more of it, if they had focused on choreography, on environment.
I've spent what?
Dragon Ball Super Kai.
I've spent 3 years, however long Super's been going, poo-pooing and being like, man, what this is we asked for years for there to be more Dragon Ball, and this is what we get. This was all for naught.
Dragon Ball Super
Literally, this 2 minutes makes me think this whole series was worth it.
I know! And so a lot of people
It's
think.
so good. This was what I've been wanting.
A lot of people are gonna look at me and think that I can't be pleased, except for the fact that one, I loved the first time we got Ultra Instinct. Two, when Goku fucking uses the Kamehameha to ride Kefla's attack was one of the coolest moments in Dragon Ball. Period. We get great moments with Vegeta all the time. Vegeta's beatdown of Black is one of my favorite moments with Vegeta, bar none. That when he's like, down to the very last cell, only that man could control that body.
Yeah.
Like, that scene is great. The Battle of God stuff was great, even though the anime kind of meh. I love Battle of God as a movie, and I still love parts of that saga. I love Dragon Ball, top to bottom. So when I get bad Dragon Ball, it's sad for me, and I do complain about it. But when I get moments like this, you will see my eyes light up, me make inhuman noises, and me recite the entire battle to you in real time just to tell you how much I fucking loved it.
Also, real quick, I do want to pull back just a second to right before this bit starts when Goku stands up and sticks with Frieza and 17. I really, really love the interplay with the three of them as they're like holding off Jiren's blast. And Frieza's like, "You remember the promise you made, right? That at the end of this, because I helped you, you're going to bring me back to life?" And Goku's like, "You fucking know I'm good for my word. If anyone knows, it's you." And then he's just like, "All right, I just want to make sure that we're clear on that no matter what happens, you're bringing me back." And somebody's like, "You guys done making up?" Just like, "Shut up! No, we still hate each other."
Yeah, Frieza's like, I'll never forgive him. And I'm like, God damn it.
And I was just like, that's real good stuff. And I do find it just so funny, just like those characters interacting. It was like, man, you did it.
Yeah.
They did. They talked.
I just...
It's a good episode.
That segment is so good. That segment, just the entire thing up, and then, they fucking Goku and Frieza beat Jiren, leaving 17 in the ring, which... God, I just love every shot. Like the shot where he's like, do it. It's just the animation.
Yeah, everyone stands up and like they're all just like, go.
And then they win. And then a little bit of bullshit might happen here. Little bit of bullshit.
No bullshit.
So
bullshit.
So knocks out Jiren. Universe 7 wins. And, obviously, 17's going to wish for all the universes back. I don't even know why they tried to make this a point of contention.
But your cruise!
The alternative wish I wanted so bad is for 17 to be like, all this shit went bad when Beerus woke up. I wish he never woke up.
Yes, that is something that I actually wanted from the very beginning.
It would have been dumb, and it would have spoken to the GT fan in me of going, it can still happen. Because it would have undone everything.
Yeah, I didn't want that to happen, but I expected that. I was like, how are they going to...
Because 17 is nihilistic and just like fed up with it, and like he makes this face, and I swear to God he was looking at Beerus, and like they do the cut to commercial break kind of thing, and I was like, holy shit, is he gonna do it? Is it gonna happen? That was the only other alternative I saw. It was either gonna be bring back every universe or fucking undo everything that's happened since Beerus woke up.
Yeah, if Beerus had never woken up, everything else would have played out very differently. In fact, by and large, yeah, you could.
The only possible thing that might have happened is Frieza going golden may have been too much for Goku and Vegeta to handle.
Although you could easily hand wave that.
Yeah.
Like Goku and everyone was on Earth at the time, so they found out the Dragon Balls were being used and stopped
it.
Boom, done. I just explained it in a sentence. Like there are easy ways to fix that stuff, but I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
Because frankly, I don't want them to just.
I don't want them to just retcon everything.
Yeah,
that would be stupid. Like,
Yeah.
even as someone
What
who
would have been the point of Super?
Even as someone who desperately, well, the point was for that last 2-minute fight, but as someone who desperately, secretly, really wants GT to somehow actually happen still in canon universe.
I'm sorry, but it looks like it is an alternate universe at this point.
Yeah.
Unless unless they somehow reconcile this, which I don't want them to.
Yeah.
No.
They've
At
gone-
this point, it would be too much.
There'd be no
effort
way.
for what it
There'd be
would
no way.
worth.
Yeah.
There would be no explanation why Super Saiyan Blue and God
Are
aren't.
just never mentioned.
Yeah, it would only serve to make GT worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the second half of this is 17's like
The
yep,
bullshit.
Yep, bring back all the universes that fucking Zeno destroyed. Which by the erased.
Yup.
Which by the
Yup.
way,
Mhm.
might
gonna bring
include
that
the
up.
other ones that were erased beforehand, up to the full 18 that originally existed. Which I'm curious to see if that plays out. Second,
The bullshit.
If he hadn't have made that wish, Zeno would have destroyed everything.
Yeah, it is later revealed that
The bullshit.
I have a fight for you. But
Grand Minister just kind of pops up and goes like, "Oh, by the way, it's real good that you made that wish." Zeno saw this outcome. He said that if the person standing at the end of this tournament would clearly have a pure enough heart to bring back the rest of the universes. And someone says like, "Well, what if he didn't?" He's like, "Oh, then Zeno would have erased all of you and decided this whole thing was moot."
What
It's like,
bullshit.
damn.
Here's the thing. So I would like to talk to you about expectations, Dragon Ball, and satisfactory storylines.
Yeah.
You get two.
Yeah, you get to pick two of those.
Because
three.
here's the big issue. Hey, Saab.
Yeah.
Was there any chance they weren't going to wish back the universes?
Well,
No, honestly. Was
No.
there? No, there wasn't. Because Dragon Ball's not just going to wipe out trillions upon trillions upon trillions of people, and except for
Trillions of money that they just spent on these character designs.
also that they were never going to do that.
So is your problem?
My problem is the after effect. I don't care. That's expected.
Yeah.
My bullshit is that it's like, oh, if anyone would have made another wish, like
We would've
fucking
killed
Zeno
him
would've
anyway.
destroyed
hold on. That's what I'm getting at, though. They were always going to wish back the other universes. Always.
Just throwing in that extra line of, well, if you didn't, we would have killed you.
Yes,
Like,
that was good. That's good, because think about it. That is telling you, no, this actually could have gone tits up if somebody had done the wrong thing. If somebody had not wished them back, then, yeah, guess what? You would have all died. Congratulations. You being good people is the thing that actually saved you. Otherwise, fuck you. Fuck
yeah, 'cause,
all your
like,
nonsense.
no other universe implies, well, other than Kaba, like all the other universes are like, oh, we've got wishes in mind. Like we're like,
man,
we
keep
got a
Universe
plan.
9.
Yeah, actually, all the other universes were kind of out for themselves.
Yeah.
It was that last wish, that one, like 17, deciding, you know what, like, you know, to not be selfish and do the right thing, like, which should be apparent to anybody.
Yeah.
But think about it. It's his universe. He doesn't have to worry about shit now. Who cares about everybody else?
I
But
just
no,
want to
he-
go home.
Yeah, he decides, you know what, I'll bring them all back because,
But his cruise.
which he still got, because obviously.
But his cruise.
Yeah. But.
It wasn't a godly
No,
cruise.
18's response is still dumb as fuck. That is the worst line in all of Dragon Ball. There is no line worse. There.
You sure you want to bring those universes back? I thought you wanted to go on a cruise.
But what about your cruise? Yes.
But what about your fucking cruise?
As some people, 18 was not teasing. That is not the face or way
Yeah,
of teasing.
she looked very concerned and
Yes.
like, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah,
You
if
wanted
she-
a boat.
If she had come up to him and nudged him and was like, "You lost your cruise, man," like that would have been funny as hell.
17, a boat's a boat, but 12 universes can
A
be anything.
boat's a
There could
boat.
there could even be a boat.
Thank you for that amazing Simpsons pull.
Family Guy,
Oh,
dummy.
that was.
A boat's a boat.
But the mystery box could be anything, Lois. It
But the
could even be a boat.
But point being,
You know how much we wanted one of those?
so, but yeah, point being, I liked that twist because at least it's different from what exactly we were gonna get, no
Yeah.
matter what. At least there was an actual like, oh shit, yeah, no, we could have all been erased if we'd done the wrong thing. moment.
My only thoughts, I'm here or there on the, like, I'm glad there's some sort of like, hey, if you didn't do this, like, something. But I'm more disappointed because I feel like we've seen the Zenos, Zen-Yi, however we want to pluralize them. We've seen them playing their game of like blowing up planets like it's nothing. So I feel like sanctity of life is not exactly something they're
don't
concerned
give a
with.
shit.
So it seems really weird that now is when they would suddenly get on a high horse and be like,
This man literally blew up fucking 13 through 18 universe, like, because it's like, oh, they got me upset.
Yeah, but the other thing here was ultimately it was a test to see if mortal life should exist.
Right.
And that's cool.
And
I like
it's
this
funny, I
idea.
realized that as you were explaining it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, yeah,
This
I
is-
guess it was for their mortal level or whatever.
Yeah, because the entire thing was, do you guys deserve to exist?
No.
If you cannot make this existential choice to save everybody, then you're fucking gone. And that's great because it's like, cool, there was a purpose.
Yeah.
Beyond just a fight,
Purpose.
there ended up being a larger purpose. The problem now that I find with it is that that is not explored very well.
Yes.
It is merely stated and less implicit. Like it's like, hey, yeah, this is why we did it. Okay, now go home.
Because I
By
feel
the
like
way-
the way everyone like Beerus and how everyone treats Zeno is this like, oh my God, he's this flippant man who will destroy you as soon as he looks at you if he wants, because he just has that power. And it's like, but he's also Mr. Do you deserve to live because you love life? And it just feels so incongruous to everything we've been told about him up to this point.
Shout out to Frost, still
Well-
living, even after cheating.
No, we don't see him.
No, he's there.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because I thought it
he's
was a cool detail that he
It
didn't
would have
get to
been
come
great.
It would have
though.
been good.
Oh man, I actually would have loved fuck Frost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
what a
he
dipshit.
clearly showed himself to be an irredeemable piece of shit. So
So here's a question: how does everyone feel about Whis bringing
Frieza
Frieza
back.
back?
I don't. I guess I'm not like. It's more I'm upset that he has that power that he can just be like, and you're alive. Like I think that's kind of fucked.
Man, they
but-
better answer
Well, here-
what the fuck he's been doing from like up to the end of Z.
Thing that we should also point out: in this universe, dead is a status.
Yeah.
You can keep your body after you die. It is reformed, and then you enter the afterlife. The literal fact of like, boop, all right, I just turned you to alive.
I flipped your living switch.
Like, it does not even bother me a little bit, considering the way death works in this universe.
That's fair.
Literally, it's your halo disappears.
Either
No,
way,
I'm not bothered.
I'm okay with Frieza being alive if that's the question you're going. What makes it more weird to me is that kind of the rest of the crew seems okay with it, and Frieza even says, "I'm not planning on not being evil." And then
Yeah.
and then Goku's like, "I know, and we'll stop you again." And it's just like, all right, that's fine, but I still feel like there's no like urgency to it, I guess. Because
What the fuck?
The next, because jumping ahead a little bit, the next sequence is seeing everybody having fun and being okay and celebrating,
And then
Frieza
Frieza's
being
back.
like, and
I
I'm
have
back,
an army,
bitches, like with his
motherfuckers!
army.
But I love that scene,
No,
though.
that's cool. What's weird to me is the fact that like at no point do Goku and Vegeta go, "Hey, Frieza's gonna go off and subjugate more galaxies," and he probably just knows like that our score is settled, so he's probably not gonna come here because he knows specifically we'll stop him. So we should probably go check on that. Like, at no
Yeah.
point is that implied, which is
it's-
fair because this is up leading to a break. But
Ultimately, Frieza coming back to life is something that always sat kind of poorly with me because I didn't want Frieza to come back, but I can deal with it.
Yeah.
I could deal with that as just being a quirk of the universe. Fine,
He's
cool.
the anti-hero now.
yeah, I'm fine with him being this universe's Joker who's just always there and just like, I'm always gonna be causing mischief, but for some reason or another, I'm never really gone. Like, that's fine with me.
Like you said, he's a cockroach.
Yeah, he just kind of keeps coming back.
Although, wouldn't it be great if the new villain killed him?
Oh,
In a
that
movie?
would be great.
It's very
they
possible
did
how the
say-
movie starts
They,
is-
they did say they were going to explore something to do with Frieza.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love for whatever this next villain is to just fucking violently murder him, and being like, no, fuck this shit, and fuck these other Saiyans
These
for
other
letting this
people
shit-
for letting him go.
Yeah, like I'd love for that to happen. We'll see what happens with that. Like we have a movie coming out, and it looks amazing.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, it looks
very good.
fucking great, and I'm super excited.
Animation wise, obviously the quality of the movie we have no
yeah,
real
yeah.
clue on.
No contact.
Huh?
No real contact.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
content so far. But yeah, so the very end of this is a montage of
Yeah.
everybody.
They showed the
kinda-
credits twice, which didn't sit very well with me.
Did they?
Because during the montage, credits go, and then we also have the ending theme. So
I'm
it's just like-
wondering.
Feels like they just took up double space, and I'm sure it's budget, animation, that kind of stuff, but just still feels very
Laziness.
like
I'm kidding.
we took up double time for credits, which
I'm wondering actually what would have happened was they just had more people to talk about.
That's
because
also
it was the
fair.
end of the
Oh,
series.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they went over more than what was just included.
that's
in the final
very
credits.
possible too. Because I can't read Japanese, so I don't know what the credits were saying, but.
But at the end of the day, we get this little montage. I wish we could have gotten an episode of epilogue, a whole episode to kind
Yeah.
of really.
That's what I thought at 131 was going to be.
That would have
Well-
been nice, but I also can definitely see. I wish this was an hour special, if anything.
Yeah, an hour special would have been great. But that being said, amazing how Super had a satisfactory ending. Like, all things considered, this was probably the best ending the show has had. With maybe, I mean, the ending of the Battle of Gods arc was actually fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was exactly what we got in in Battle of Gods, which was good. I liked that. And the ending we got to Resurrection F was dumb and bad. The ending we got to the Otherworld tournament or the Universe 6 tournament was okay. Like, I mean, it actually had some good parts to it, but it's mostly not memorable.
Shout out to Monaco.
And then the ending to Goku Black is the worst ending Dragon Ball's ever had.
Yeah.
So where do we how do we feel about this ending? You think it's like the best ending Super's had?
I mean, it's probably the best ending Super's had, but that's not. I'm not going to say that's saying much because the rest of them that have been fine have just been.
I'm just
fine.
asking if you think it's the best.
Like, for me, my problem is, and this has been kind of my consistent problem with Super, is I feel like they are afraid to let their arcs have repercussions. Because I feel like
Yes.
every single one ends with, and things are back to the way they were.
Yep.
Like, this one, Frieza got to come back, which is like, all right, that's new. But, like, you know, it still goes with, like, I can't do Ultra Instinct anymore. Like, it's like, the next arc can start
like
up.
nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. The next arc will feel like it starts up, and unless 17 is hanging around, like, it will feel like that last arc didn't even happen unless Frieza
yeah, no,
is
you
there.
are absolutely
and
right.
I kind of hate that because I feel like that was something I really liked about Dragon Ball and Z is the end of every arc felt like the next one's going to have a new starting point because of how the last one ended. And Super has very consistently been like, and let's reset to square one so the next arc can just start and you go.
Dragon Ball, at the end of every arc, progression happens, no
Yeah.
matter what. Dragon Ball Z, progression happens every time an arc ends. A year goes by, months go by, characters change, the place in their life changes.
Yeah.
Nothing from the beginning of Dragon Ball, nothing from the beginning of Dragon Ball Super to the end of Dragon Ball Super.
Other than getting the introduction of some forms,
Yes.
has,
That's
it.
has been like really been dramatically changed.
Yeah.
The concept of there being more universes was dropped during the Beerus fight. So if you want to say like, well, we've met more universes, we've met them, but we also knew they existed from the first
But
arc.
the status quo
Yeah.
does rarely change.
Like, I was pretty psyched for what I was thinking the end of the Goku Black arc was shaping up to be, because I was like, oh, we just deleted Trunks' timeline. Future Trunks can hang out in prime time now,
fuck
and he's
you.
just part of the cast. Like, I was like, oh, that'd be neat, but then it's like,
That would be neat, but
it's like,
they
nah, I'm
said,
going
fuck
home.
you.
Yeah. So
but
send him
this
to an
does, with how much this arc tried to, like we were talking about at the beginning of the show, trying to set its own tone and be its own thing, that honestly, as much as I have a bunch of problems with this arc, it gives me hope for any future Dragon Ball content
Yeah.
down the line, because I think they're, in a weird way, in their final arc, we're ready to go, what if we stopped trying to just piggyback Z and make our own thing?
Yeah.
Which I
And
think has been
that's what I
Super's
want
biggest
them
problem.
to do. Yeah.
And so I'm going to hold up a card because I think we're at the point where we need to make a decision about how we felt about this arc. Dragon Ball Super, by and large, is a very flawed product. It was rushed out, like very much rushed out. The Resurrection F arc, you can see where the worst of it came out because they just didn't have enough time to plan things. Its stories have gone up and down. It's had really cool ideas and some of the best animation Dragon Ball's ever seen. It's also had some terrible ideas and literally the worst animation Dragon Ball has ever seen. Its ups and downs are peaks and valleys by far. As you said, this felt like the first real attempt after, like Goku Black, I feel like was the first real attempt to do something better.
To differentiate itself.
Yeah, to make itself a good show and not just, you know, oh yeah, we got the movies in Universe 6, which was completely inoffensive for the most part. No, it tried to do things. It tried to do crazy things. And that was cool. It just failed in some regards. It made some bad mistakes that ended up dragging it down. But here we see it really try to refresh. Like, okay, we stumbled with that first step. Here's a real jump. Here's, like, go crazy with all of it. And, yeah, unfortunately, it still had a lot of those problems. It inconsistently wrote characters. It introduced really terrible concepts that could have worked well if they'd just given it a little bit more time and effort. A bad antagonist. But, man, those up moments were incredible. I said, fuck yeah, more in this saga than I did in any other saga in Dragon Ball Super. Like, just flat out. There were just times where it blew my mind how entertained I was. I didn't think I was going to hold this up by the end of this, honestly. I thought I was going to hold up a knife because I really didn't like parts of this arc. I really didn't. But man, the stuff I liked, I think I liked better than maybe even some of the stuff in Dragon Ball Z. Like, I think there were moments in here that rival some of the best stuff in Z. It just sucks that there's a lot of bullshit. But as you said, Grant, and you're
Yeah.
the reason I'm holding this up, man, this might be the first step to a better Dragon Ball. We might be on the way. Super could have been a bunch of mistakes, but man, if they take lessons from this and make a better step forward, which I fully believe they could, this might have been that first real step doing that. So I'm holding up this eggplant.
First step to becoming a warrior race.
I'm fucking the universe survival arc.
Dragon Ball Ultra, baby.
Dragon Ball Ultra,
There we
yep.
go. Dragon Ball 64.
Granthony.
Dragon Ball Super came so many years after everything Dragon Ball had seemingly ended. We got that anniversary special, which still hasn't been localized and drives me crazy.
Damn it!
Even though, that's besides the point. And Super started, and man, everybody was all excited. I saw a bunch of fake concept art about like tween Trunks and Goten and stuff, and just like looking forward to all these crazy things and new adventures. Seeing something I loved and just wanted more of, possibly getting it. Saw Battle of Gods, thought it was amazing. Liked Resurrection F enough to still be pretty excited about things happening. And then Super was just this long, arduous journey of just examples of things that like I knew were present in Dragon Ball and Z and GT, but just to me feeling like they were done in the worst ways and just kind of in a weird way retroactively making me question how much I actually liked Dragon Ball, because things would happen and people would point out like, well, it's kind of like when this happened in Z or when this happened in Dragon Ball. And I couldn't argue that. And rather than go like, you're right, maybe I do like Super, all it made me start going is maybe my rose-tinted glasses for Dragon Ball are just falling off, and I'm realizing this whole thing is not actually what I think it was or as good as I thought it was. And even though ultimately in the end they came up with some really cool fight sequences and a lot of like the Tournament of Power did a lot of things that I think were technically in the right direction, I still got to knife this bitch. Because man, I love Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. A ton. I have tons of merch. I've spent probably hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on things for the Dragon Ball franchise. And for the last 2 years, I've been like, man, fuck Dragon Ball and its fans. They keep making all of these excuses for this really subpar thing. And it's making me feel bad for once counting myself among them. And now I'm kind of back in and they're bringing my hope back. But the fact I ever had to feel that way really sucks. and ultimately is really disappointing. So I'm afraid I gotta kill the Tournament of Power, just because I think it's, even though it might be looking in the right direction, all of the bad it does is very indicative to, I think, of a lot of the problems that Dragon Ball has been suffering for the past few years. So there you go.
Well, for me, man, Dragon Ball is not just like a show that I can watch. It's become my career to a point. In
Oh,
the
really?
Sense of yeah, really.
I don't know what that's like.
Yeah. But but I'm not as technical or as detailed as possible. I'm still.
And by the way, that is fine. Anybody
Yeah.
I sit over here oh, this animator and these animators and this cut and that cut. No, most people are like you. Most
Yeah.
people are fans and not whatever I am.
Yeah. No, but I've seen Dragon Ball I've been watching Dragon Ball since I was 3. I've seen it in Spanish, in English, I've even in Japanese. I've seen it in German once. It was weird.
I like German Vegeta.
Yeah. I've seen it in multiple different languages, and it's always nice to see Dragon Ball. And honestly, even now, it's 20 years later, and man, that whimsy, whenever I see not just a new transformation, but I remember just hearing Goku in the tournament, Universe 6 tournament, not even Tournament of Power, just yell out Kaioken the first time, which was unexpected. I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's going to pull another form out of his ass. No, he goes Kaioken. I'm like, oh, shit, throwback. Like, there's always that whimsy whenever he transforms, whenever he does a technique, a fusion, anything like that. Like, it just brings out that 3-year-old that first saw Dragon Ball. So even though the fandom is something else, I'm with you right there, buddy.
Yep.
Yo, I'm in it, and I fucking hate it sometimes. I'm with you. But man, I can't help it. I gotta fuck it. I'm trying to pull the right card. I gotta fuck
ready for you to
it.
make the wrong one.
Yeah, the wrong one. I'll fucking kill it. No, I'm kidding. I'll fucking fuck it. Give me your fuck card.
All right, yeah.
I'll fucking fuck
Fuck it for me.
Yeah, I'll double fuck it.
Actually, you've never seen the show. Literally, the animation double fuck is going to come up on the screen.
Oh great, double fuck.
Yep. So,
There
it
you have
came
it.
up on the screen when you held it up. So
Great.
So hey, you fucked it. I fucked it. You knifed it. I was not.
Yeah, I think you and I were both coming in here planning on knifing it. I, at the end, was like, I could kind of go either way on this, but ultimately, with how bad it made me feel.
See, you were a little like. Here's the interesting thing. I've always known you to be at least a little more critical than I am, and that's cool. Like I held nothing against people who are a little more critical, a little less critical. People all have their own way of looking at things.
I can love things just as much as I can hate things, guys. I don't hate everything.
I fucking hate everything.
But it's really cool to have this conversation because we all here love Dragon Balls a stupid, maybe unhealthy amount.
Probably.
Yeah.
But we are also trying. We want the best for it, and wanting the best for something is about realizing what's wrong with it. Because as a very astute reviewer once said, and I wish I could remember her name, just because you love something unconditionally does not mean you love it better. It just means you love it sadder. And that's why when I sit down and I'm like, this was bullshit, that was awful, I hated that, understand that that is me trying to help the thing that I like get better. That's me recognizing like, no, that failed because of a complete misunderstanding of the subject matter. Or that failed because they rushed the process. I will never sit here and say that's bad and not explain why. And I will never hold it against somebody for liking it, even if I look them in the face and say it's bad. And I will also not sit over here saying, but it's just my opinion, because of course it's just my opinion.
It kind of goes without saying.
I'm a guy on the internet. You don't need to listen to me and be offended when I say it's bad. Listen to me and say, well, he thinks it's bad. Good, we're in agreement. So if you liked the stuff I hated, if you hated the stuff I liked, cool. I hope you enjoyed us talking about this. How'd you get?
Ditto.
So
Dragon Ball.
I want to thank you, Grant. I want to
Okay.
thank you, Alejandro, for joining us today.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, that was Anime FMK's review of the Tournament of Power. This kind of was thrown together at the last second because
Yeah, I
Kieran's
wasn't
out
planning on being on here today.
Yeah, you were supposed to be Lanny.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Damn writers at the last moment.
Yeah, at the last
switching
second, switching
out.
characters out.
Sons of bitches.
Man, how
He
much of a
couldn't wake up, so
Hey, look.
they brought me back from the dead.
It's Frieza 17 again.
Oh, hey.
Oh, shit.
You know what? If that makes me Goku, I am totally fine by that right now. But yeah, so thank you all so much for joining us. You guys are wonderful as always, and we'll catch you next Wednesday for when we end this season of FMK. Put the fucking knife down.
I'll fucking kill you.
Thank you guys. I'll see you around.
I can feel it.